Most people brush their teeth with toothpaste. She used champagne, not as a joke, not as a one-time dare. Every single day. Dentists warned her. She didn't care. Who was she? And why did she turn something so basic into a symbol of excess? A woman unlike any other. Most people wouldn't dream of replacing water with champagne, but for one Hollywood legend, it was non-negotiable. She didn't just drink it at parties, she lived by it. Hydration, champagne, self-care, champagne, brushing her teeth. You guessed it, champagne. This wasn't a quirky habit she picked up later in life. The seeds of extravagance were planted early. Born into wealth and privilege, she never learned restraint. While most kids were taught discipline, she was encouraged to be exactly who she wanted to be, and what she wanted was everything. By the time she reached adolescence, her personality was already larger than life. She wasn't just rebellious, she was unstoppable. Teachers couldn't control her. Rules meant nothing. If a school didn't meet her expectations, she simply left or got expelled. Either way, it was her decision. Her parents, exasperated but indulgent, sent her to the most prestigious institutions they could find. Maybe structure would tame her. It didn't. The only lessons that stuck were the ones she wanted to learn: drama, literature, and, most importantly, the art of capturing attention. As a teenager, she discovered her greatest skill: commanding a room. It wasn't just about beauty or talent, it was presence. She had an effortless way of making everyone around her feel like they were in the presence of someone important, even if they couldn't quite explain why. That magnetism led her straight to the stage, Broadway to be exact. While other young women were being molded into obedient starlets, she did things her own way. She smoked, swore, and laughed louder than the men. She wasn't trying to fit in. She expected the world to adjust to her, and, incredibly, it did. The making of an icon. By the time she was in her early 20s, she had already conquered Broadway. Critics might have been divided on her wild behavior, but audiences couldn't get enough. She wasn't a polished, delicate starlet. She was unpredictable, electric, alive. Hollywood took notice. Studio heads weren't sure what to make of her. She was brash, unapologetic, and had a voice that could cut through a crowded room like a knife. But there was no denying her talent. She had that rare quality that made people lean in when she spoke, waiting for what she'd say next. She didn't audition for roles, she owned them. Directors knew that once she was on set, she wouldn't just read lines, she'd command the screen. Her charisma was so overpowering that co-stars often found themselves reduced to background noise. But Hollywood came with rules. It expected women to be demure, well-behaved, controlled. That wasn't her style. She drank, smoked, and swore like a sailor. She talked openly about things actresses weren't supposed to mention: sex, politics, money. And yet, studios couldn't resist her. They cleaned up her image in glossy magazine spreads, trying to sell her as another glamorous, sophisticated leading lady. But no matter how much makeup, lighting, or editing they applied, they couldn't erase the truth. She wasn't just acting. She was the role. Every part she played felt like an extension of herself. Fierce, unfiltered, magnetic. Audiences ate it up. But fame didn't change her. If anything, it made her more reckless. While other actresses carefully curated their images, she leaned into chaos. If reporters asked her a question, she answered with brutal honesty. If a party got dull, she found a way to liven it up, often with a dramatic entrance, an unexpected striptease, or a scandalous remark designed to make headlines. She wasn't just famous, she was notorious. And she didn't care. Hollywood wanted to control her. Instead, she made it clear she was going to play by her rules. And that was just the beginning. The Broadway Takeover. Before Hollywood tried to tame her, Broadway was the perfect playground. There were no cameras to censor her, no studio heads demanding she behave, just a stage, an audience, and the raw energy she thrived on. She didn't just perform, she consumed the spotlight. Critics struggled to describe her. She wasn't graceful, but she was mesmerizing. She didn't deliver lines, she attacked them. Every performance felt spontaneous, as if she might change the entire script on a whim just to see what would happen. Audiences were hooked. They didn't just come to see the play, they came to see her. Would she show up sober? Would she insult a co-star mid-scene? Would she break the fourth wall just to mock a critic in the front row? Anything was possible. One night, when a fellow actor fumbled a line, she didn't cover for him. She doubled down. "Darling, if you can't remember the words, at least say something clever," she quipped, sending the audience into hysterics. That was her power. No one knew what she'd do next, and that unpredictability made her irresistible. Her reputation grew beyond the stage. New York nightlife belonged to her. She could outdrink the men, outwit the socialites, and outshine the biggest personalities of the era. If a party didn't include her, it wasn't worth attending. But Broadway wasn't enough. She wanted a bigger stage, and Hollywood was starting to realize that no matter how unruly she was money. Studios had seen her name in the papers too many times to ignore her. Even with the scandals, the rumors, and the endless stream of outrageous behavior, one thing was clear. When she was on stage, people watched. Hollywood's wildest star. When she arrived in Hollywood, she wasn't just another actress looking for a break. She was a Broadway legend with a reputation so big it could barely fit through the studio gates. Directors knew she was trouble. Producers knew she was unpredictable. But they also knew one thing. If they put her on screen, people would watch. Her first films proved what Broadway fans already knew. She wasn't just talented, she was electric. She didn't act so much as dominate the screen. Whether she played a seductress, a villain, or a tragic lead, audiences couldn't take their eyes off her. But Hollywood came with rules. Studios controlled their stars like products, dictating everything from their diets to their love lives. That wasn't going to happen with her. She refused to be molded into the typical Hollywood starlet. If they wanted her, they had to take all of her, scandal, sharp tongue, and champagne obsession included. And the champagne? It was everywhere. She drank it on set, kept bottles in her dressing room, and made sure every party had a steady supply. The stories about her started to sound impossible. She was rumored to have bathed in it, used it to wash her hair, and even brushed her teeth with it. Directors begged her to behave. She laughed in their faces. She was kicked off sets for arriving late, or sometimes not at all. She openly insulted the Hollywood elite, calling them dull and predictable. If a leading man annoyed her, she let him know, sometimes with words, sometimes by knocking back his drink in one gulp and walking away. The press couldn't get enough. Every headline was wilder than the last. Actress stirs up scandal at studio gala. Hollywood starlet's outrageous party leaves guests speechless. Leading lady prefers champagne to water. Dentists horrified. The studio system wasn't built for someone like her. They wanted obedient, polished stars who followed orders. She wasn't here to follow anything. Hollywood had created its own monster, and it had no idea how to contain her. Scandals, rumors, and unapologetic living. As her fame skyrocketed, so did the stories about her. Some were true, some exaggerated, and some so outrageous they sounded made up. Except with her, anything felt possible. She had no interest in hiding who she was. While other actresses carefully protected their images, she welcomed controversy. She spoke openly about sex, drank more than any of her male co-stars, and cursed like a sailor in an era when women were expected to be demure. The rumors fueled her legend. One of the most famous? She supposedly despised water so much that she replaced it entirely with champagne. Not just for drinking, she allegedly washed her face with it, rinsed her hair with it, and even brushed her teeth with it. When asked if it was true, she never denied it. Instead, she'd flash her signature grin and say, "Why ruin a good story with the truth?" Dentists warned her about the damage she was doing to her enamel. She didn't care. By this point, her reckless habits were as much a part of her persona as her performances. Beyond her personal indulgences, she had a habit of stirring up scandal in public. She made crude jokes in interviews, gave blunt opinions about her peers, and treated Hollywood's biggest events like her personal playground. Once, at a high society dinner, she reportedly took off her mink coat and revealed she wasn't wearing anything underneath. The film industry had never seen anyone like her. While other actresses played by the rules to maintain their careers, she seemed to thrive on breaking them. But it wasn't just rebellion for the sake of it. She was proving a point. She refused to be controlled. Of course, Hollywood had its limits, even for her. The industry tolerated her chaos as long as she was bringing in money. But how long could they let her run wild before the consequences caught up? At some point, even the biggest stars have to pay the price. And for her, the bill was about to arrive. The champagne obsession. By now, the stories about her were legendary, but nothing fascinated people more than Tallulah Bankhead's relationship with champagne. It wasn't just her drink of choice, it was practically a personality trait. While others reached for water to quench their thirst, she reached for a bottle of bubbly. She was never seen without a glass in hand. At parties, on film sets, even during interviews, it didn't matter. She once quipped, "I don't drink water. Fish do unspeakable things in it." That line alone cemented her reputation as Hollywood's most extravagant drinker. But the real shock came when rumors spread that Bankhead wasn't just drinking champagne, she was using it for hygiene. People whispered that she washed her hair with it, splashed it on her face as a toner, and, most bizarrely, brushed her teeth with it. When confronted with these rumors, she never gave a straight answer. Instead, she let the gossip swirl, knowing it only made her more infamous. But those close to her swore it wasn't a joke. She really did it. Dentists warned her. The acid in champagne was eroding her enamel, making her teeth vulnerable to decay. But she had little interest in medical advice. In fact, she dismissed health concerns altogether. If champagne was ruining her teeth, so be it. She had no plans to change. For her, champagne wasn't just a drink. It was a lifestyle. It represented indulgence, rebellion, and a refusal to conform. In a town obsessed with image, she refused to take anything seriously. And yet, her excess had a cost. The years of partying, drinking, and ignoring warnings were catching up. Hollywood had a way of chewing people up and spitting them out, and as much as she pretended to be untouchable, cracks were beginning to show. The price of extravagance. For years, she lived as if consequences didn't exist. Bankhead drank what she wanted, said what she wanted, and ignored every warning thrown her way. But excess always comes with a price, and she was starting to feel the bill. The long nights of drinking and partying were catching up. Her once effortless charm began to waver. The sharp wit that made her irresistible started turning against her. Some called it self-destruction. Others saw it as inevitable. Either way, Hollywood was watching her unravel. Physically, the toll was undeniable. The years of champagne abuse had done more than just fuel gossip. It had ruined her teeth. Those close to her claimed her enamel was wearing away, leading to painful dental issues. But when dentists urged her to stop, she laughed them off. The damage was already done. Professionally, the industry's patience was running thin. Hollywood had always been willing to tolerate bad behavior, as long as the box office numbers were good. But her unpredictability was becoming a liability. Showing up late was one thing. Not showing up at all was another. Directors dreaded working with her. Producers saw her as a financial risk. The same studios that once fought for her name on a marquee were now looking for safer options. And then there was the drinking. It had gone from a party trick to something darker. Friends noticed that the wild, rebellious spirit had been replaced with something more desperate. The industry loved a good scandal, but it had no patience for downward spirals. Bankhead was still a star. But in Hollywood, being a star wasn't enough. You had to be marketable, and she was slipping out of favor. The end of an era. She had spent years bending Hollywood to her will, refusing to conform, refusing to play by anyone's rules but her own. But by now the industry had moved on. The same rebellious spirit that once made her irresistible was now making her unhireable. Producers had grown tired of the unpredictability. Directors weren't willing to gamble on an actress who might show up late, or not at all. The studios that once cleaned up her messes were now looking for fresh faces, women who were easier to control, easier to sell. Bankhead hadn't changed, but Hollywood had. By the time the 1940s arrived, the industry was shifting. The wild excess of the previous decades was giving way to a more polished, controlled system. Starlets were expected to be elegant, refined, scandal-free. There was no room for someone who treated movie sets like an afterthought and press interviews like a personal comedy routine. Her roles started drying up. The scripts that once came pouring in slowed to a trickle, then stopped altogether. The clubs she once ruled were filling up with a younger crowd, people who whispered about her like she was a relic of another time. And then her body started failing her too. The years of indulgence had taken their toll. The champagne habit that had fueled her legend had also fueled her decline. Health issues became harder to ignore. The dentists had been right. Her teeth were in terrible shape. And the drinking wasn't just part of the act anymore. It was a crutch. Despite it all, Bankhead refused to be pitied. If people expected her to retreat into quiet obscurity, they were wrong. She still held court at parties, still delivered razor-sharp one-liners, still made headlines, even if the headlines weren't always flattering. But the truth was unavoidable. Hollywood had outgrown her. The enduring legend of an eccentric. She may have faded from Hollywood's spotlight, but she never faded from conversation. Even as her film career slowed, her legend only grew. The stories, the scandals, the infamous champagne obsession. People couldn't stop talking about Tallulah Bankhead. The new generation of actresses were carefully controlled, groomed to be flawless public figures. She had been anything but. In an industry that thrived on illusion, she was raw, unfiltered, and unapologetic. And for that, she became a different kind of icon. Even those who had never seen her films knew of her. She wasn't just another leading lady, she was a symbol of defiance. The woman who drank too much, spoke too freely, and laughed in the face of every expectation. The rumor that she brushed her teeth with champagne? It never died. It became part of her mythology, another outrageous detail in a life that felt too wild to be real. Some dismissed it as gossip, others swore it was true. She never confirmed or denied it. Why would she? The mystery was half the fun. Even in her later years, Bankhead refused to let the world forget her. While other aging actresses faded into quiet retirement, she stayed loud. She made shocking public appearances, threw extravagant parties, and gave interviews that made journalists question if they should even print what she said. Hollywood may have turned its back on her, but the public never did. They loved her, flaws and all. Her famous one-liners became legendary, endlessly quoted in books and articles. Her rebellious spirit inspired future stars who wished they could break free from Hollywood's tight grip the way she had. Of course, there were those who dismissed her, who said she was reckless, that she could have had a longer, more stable career if she had just played the game. But that was never an option. She had lived exactly how she wanted to, on her own terms, by her own rules. The Hollywood's untamed rebel. For decades, people have repeated the stories, the scandalous affairs, the razor-sharp wit, the wild parties, the woman who treated champagne like water, who defied every rule Hollywood tried to enforce. She wasn't just a star, she was a storm. Tallulah Bankhead didn't play the Hollywood game. She made her own rules and dared the industry to keep up. They tried for a while, but in the end, no one could tame her. Her disdain for water was as famous as her performances. The rumors that she brushed her teeth with champagne? They stuck because they seemed possible. After all, this was the same woman who once told a director, "I'll come to rehearsal when I damn well please." The same woman who strolled into high society parties, coat draped over her shoulders, only to reveal she had nothing on underneath. She lived for spectacle. And unlike other Hollywood legends, she never sugarcoated anything. She spoke openly about sex, about her vices, about the absurdity of celebrity itself. When asked if she had ever been married, she famously quipped, "I've had a man's arms around me, but no man's yoke." By the time Hollywood lost interest, she had already cemented her place in history. The roles dried up, but the stories never did. Even in her later years, when the parties slowed and her body betrayed her, she kept the act going. She still cracked jokes, still drank, still lived as if she'd never left the spotlight. And even after she was gone, her influence lingered. Actresses envied her freedom. Writers quoted her without realizing it. The industry she once terrorized never quite forgot her. Tallulah Bankhead didn't fade away. She made sure of that. She wasn't the richest, she wasn't the most powerful, but she was the wildest, the boldest, the one who Hollywood never quite figured out what to do with. And if that meant brushing her teeth with champagne, then so be it. You know their names, but do you know their secrets? Joan Fontaine sabotaged her own sister's career. Veronica Lake's bad attitude got her blacklisted. Marlene Dietrich could end careers with a single phone call. These actresses weren't just famous, they were feared. And by the time you hear what they did, you'll never see them the same way again. Joan Crawford, A Mother's Nightmare. Joan Crawford had everything: Oscar-winning talent, leading lady status, and an image of elegance. Off-screen, a different story. The rumors about her strict and abusive nature weren't just industry whispers, they came straight from her own daughter. Christina Crawford's mommy dearest painted a brutal picture: emotional torment, physical punishments, and a terrifying obsession with cleanliness. That wire hanger scene? It wasn't just a dramatic touch for the book. Christina claimed Joan went into rages over minor infractions, once yanking her out of bed for using a non-padded hanger. Then there were the infamous nighttime inspections. Christina and her brother had to be spotless before bed or face the consequences. By the time Christina released her book in 1978, Joan had already passed. She couldn't defend herself, and her fans dismissed the claims as exaggerations. But for those who knew her best, the perfect mother image was just another Hollywood illusion. Bette Davis, Feuds and Fierceness. If she disliked someone, they knew it. If she respected them, they still weren't safe. She once said, "Hollywood wanted me to be pretty, but I fought for the right to be me." That fight often turned into a full-on battle with directors, co-stars, and anyone who got in her way. Joan Crawford was her favorite target. On the set of Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, Davis reportedly kicked Crawford so hard in one scene that she needed stitches. Crawford retaliated by adding weights to her costume so Davis would struggle to drag her in another shot. It wasn't just Crawford. Davis clashed with nearly every actress she worked with, including Celeste Holm and Miriam Hopkins. Off-screen, her personal life was just as turbulent. Her 4 marriages ended in disaster, and her relationship with her daughter, B.D. Hyman, ended in a tell-all book that painted Davis as a cruel and manipulative mother. Marilyn Monroe, The Diva Treatment. She wasn't known for being mean, just impossible to work with. Co-stars and directors learned quickly. Patience was mandatory. Lateness, forgotten lines, and emotional breakdowns turned every shoot into a waiting game. Billy Wilder, who directed her in Some Like It Hot, famously said, "She was a nightmare, but a dream on screen." That summed up the Monroe experience. Take after take, she botched simple lines like, "Where's the bourbon?" But when she got it right, no one could deny the magic. Co-stars weren't as forgiving. Tony Curtis compared kissing her to kissing Hitler, citing the endless delays and attitude shifts. Laurence Olivier, who worked with her on The Prince and The Showgirl, was so frustrated by her that he vowed never to work with her again. Katharine Hepburn, A Force to Fear. She didn't do small talk, didn't do Hollywood games, and definitely didn't do fake niceties. She refused to play by Hollywood's rules, dressing in men's trousers when women were expected to be in gowns and openly dismissing publicity stunts. When a columnist criticized her style, she responded by walking into the studio in her underwear, daring them to return her stolen pants. On set, she controlled every aspect of her performances, often challenging directors and ignoring stage directions. Spencer Tracy, her longtime partner, tolerated it, but others, like Humphrey Bogart, found her unbearable. When they worked together on The African Queen, Bogart called her a bossy schoolmarm and accused her of taking the fun out of filming. She clashed with John Barrymore on A Bill of Divorcement, openly questioning his ability to remember lines. Even respected director George Cukor admitted she was a handful. Hepburn had zero patience for actors she deemed beneath her. If she thought someone was untalented, she ignored them entirely. She made no effort to be liked, brushing off studio executives and turning down roles that didn't interest her. She even skipped the Academy Awards when she won, dismissing the whole thing as nonsense. Joan Fontaine, sisterly betrayal. The biggest victim of her ruthlessness? Her own sister, Olivia De Havland. Their childhood was filled with tension, with Olivia allegedly bullying Joan and Joan fighting back by stealing roles, awards, and, at times, the spotlight. In 1942, their long-standing feud took center stage at the Academy Awards. Both were nominated for Best Actress, Olivia for Hold Back the Dawn and Joan for Suspicion. When Joan's name was called, she walked past Olivia and extended her hand. Olivia turned away. That moment solidified one of Hollywood's most infamous sibling rivalries. The hostility wasn't just personal, it bled into their professional lives. Fontaine allegedly undercut Olivia at every opportunity, rejecting joint appearances and downplaying her sister's achievements in interviews. Olivia, for her part, dismissed Fontaine as shallow and refused to acknowledge her publicly. When Joan passed away in 2013, Olivia didn't attend the funeral, marking the bitter end of their lifelong feud. Olivia De Havland, the vengeful star. If Joan Fontaine was cold, Olivia De Havland was calculated. She played the long game, whether it was battling studio executives or cutting people out of her life permanently. Her landmark lawsuit against Warner Brothers in 1943 was one of the biggest power moves in Hollywood history. At the time, studios controlled actors with ironclad contracts, extending them indefinitely through suspension penalties. De Havland had enough. She took Warner Brothers to court, won, and reshaped the industry forever. But standing up to the studios made her powerful enemies, and she didn't care. That same attitude extended to her personal life. Her feud with Joan Fontaine wasn't just about professional rivalry, it was deeply personal. Fontaine won an Oscar for Suspicion in 1942, and when she approached De Havland afterward, Olivia allegedly ignored her entirely. Years later, when Fontaine extended an olive branch, Olivia refused to respond. Their estrangement lasted for decades, and even in her 90s, she made it clear there would be no reconciliation. Lana Turner, A Life of Manipulation. Studio heads, lovers, even her own daughter, everyone around her played by her rules. With a single look, she could demand loyalty, silence critics, or turn any situation in her favor. Hollywood adored her glamour, but behind the scenes, her power plays were just as legendary as her films. Her most infamous scandal erupted in 1958. Turner had been entangled with Johnny Stompanato, a mob-connected thug with a violent temper. Their relationship was volatile, full of arguments, threats, and rumors of abuse. On the night of April 4th, it all escalated. Stompanato allegedly lunged at Turner in a rage. But before he could strike, her teenage daughter Cheryl plunged a knife into his stomach. The courts ruled it self-defense, but whispers spread through Hollywood. Some insiders believe Turner carefully shaped the narrative to protect her image, ensuring she remained the tragic victim, not the scandalized star. Jean Harlo, ruthless in the spotlight. Her platinum blonde hair and sultry smile made her Hollywood's golden girl, but behind the camera, she was playing an entirely different game. She wasn't just a star, she was a strategist, maneuvering her way to the top with precision. Harlo knew how to work the studio system, aligning herself with the right people and making herself indispensable to the men in charge. MGM executives adored her, not just for her on-screen appeal, but because she understood how to cultivate an image. She used relationships to secure roles, ensuring that she stayed one step ahead of her competition. If another actress threatened her standing, whispers of a mysterious Harlo clause circulated, meaning her rivals would mysteriously lose out on roles or face sudden career roadblocks. Her life was tragically cut short at just 26 due to kidney failure, but in her brief reign, Harlo cemented herself as a Hollywood power player who never let sentimentality stand in the way of success. Gloria Swanson, the self-serving icon. She wasn't just a silent film star, she was Hollywood royalty, and she made sure everyone knew it. Her extravagant lifestyle, custom-designed gowns, and high-profile romances kept her in the headlines. But behind the glamour was a woman who refused to be controlled. Directors, producers, and co-stars quickly learned that working with her meant playing by her rules, or getting out of her way. Swanson wasn't afraid to bulldoze anyone who threatened her dominance. She had no problem firing directors, rewriting scripts, or walking off a project entirely if it didn't serve her vision. Queen Kelly, 1929, was a prime example. She clashed so intensely with Erich von Stroheim that she had him fired mid-production, effectively killing the film. She later said, "He was a genius, but he wasn't my genius." Her power moves extended beyond the screen. She carried on affairs with some of the most influential men in Hollywood, including Joseph P. Kennedy, who allegedly funneled money into her productions before quietly vanishing from her life. Veronica Lake, destructive antics. She had the looks, the talent, and the famous peekaboo hairstyle. What she didn't have? The ability to get along with anyone. Hollywood loved her on screen, but behind the scenes, she was a problem no one wanted to deal with. Her difficult reputation followed her everywhere. Alan Ladd, her frequent co-star, openly despised working with her, despite their undeniable on-screen chemistry. He once admitted that their pairings were only tolerated for box office success. Frederick March, another colleague, didn't hold back either, famously calling her a brainless little blonde. Even Claudette Colbert, known for her diplomacy, refused to work with her again after one disastrous collaboration. Her behavior extended beyond film sets. She skipped important industry meetings, ignored career-saving advice, and made powerful enemies in the studio system. She had no interest in Hollywood politics or playing by the rules, and it cost her. By the 1950s, offers dried up. Bankrupt and forgotten, she spent her final years working as a waitress in a cheap New York bar. Ava Gardner, no patience for weakness. If she walked into a room, you either impressed her immediately or you weren't worth her time. She had a reputation for chewing men up and spitting them out, but Frank Sinatra? He stuck around longer than most. Their relationship was an explosive mix of passion, fights, and public spectacle. When he wasn't giving her what she wanted, she walked away. He begged, wrote letters, made grand gestures. None of it mattered. If she was done, she was done. On set, directors learned quickly that Gardner played by her own rules. She expected perfection, but rarely delivered it herself. Showing up late was a given, and taking direction, only if she respected you. During the Barefoot Contessa, she let everyone know she thought Humphrey Bogart was past his prime. He clapped back, calling her Miss High and Mighty. Tallulah Bankhead, the razor-sharp tongue. She was witty, loud, and completely unapologetic, earning a reputation as one of Hollywood's most unpredictable actresses. Directors, producers, and co-stars never knew what version of her they were going to get. She called Bette Davis a little megalomaniac and dismissed Alfred Hitchcock with, "Don't be so bloody patronizing." On the set of Lifeboat, 1944, Hitchcock had to work around her outrageous behavior, including showing up intoxicated and arguing over lines. She also despised authority. If a director gave an order she didn't like, she'd ignore it or mock them in front of the crew. Bankhead wasn't just difficult, she was reckless. She skipped rehearsals, showed up late, and had no problem cursing out executives. Studios tolerated her antics for a while, but eventually, even Hollywood had enough. Miriam Hopkins, the ultimate backstabber. Miriam Hopkins didn't just compete, she sabotaged. If another actress landed a role she wanted, she didn't take it as a loss. She took it as a challenge. Hollywood wasn't big enough for both her and the competition, and she made sure everyone knew it. Her biggest feud? Bette Davis. Their rivalry was pure venom. When they worked together on The Old Maid, 1939, Hopkins allegedly faked tears in scenes to force retakes, ensuring more screen time for herself. Davis wasn't fooled, later saying, "I wouldn't trust her any further than I could throw her." The tension was so thick that the director had to separate them between takes. Barbara Stanwyck, the Ice Queen. She was cold, calculating, and always in control. Unlike other actresses who relied on charm or connections, she carved her place in Hollywood with pure grit and made sure no one got in her way. She ran her sets like a military operation. Directors either respected her or feared her. There was no in-between. She expected perfection from herself and everyone else, and if you didn't deliver, you were out. While filming Double Indemnity, Fred MacMurray called working with her an endurance test, noting that she had no patience for laziness or hesitation. Stanwyck delivered flawless performances, and she expected the same from everyone around her. Behind the scenes, she was fiercely protective of her career. Rumors of her difficult nature never gained traction because she knew how to control the narrative. Studio executives understood that crossing her was a mistake, and co-stars learned quickly that she didn't tolerate mediocrity. Marlene Dietrich, the puppet master. She understood power better than most men in the industry and made sure she was always the one pulling the strings. Her beauty and talent were undeniable, but it was her cunning that kept her on top. If she wanted a role, she got it. If she wanted someone out of the way, they disappeared. She surrounded herself with influential men, directors, producers, studio heads, carefully cultivating relationships that served her. They weren't just lovers or colleagues. They were pawns in her long game. Josef von Sternberg, the director who helped launch her career, was completely under her control. He shaped her image, but when she was ready to move on, she left him behind without a second thought. Dietrich had no patience for competition. Once, after clashing with a co-star, she reportedly warned, "Your career will be over before you know it," and she meant it. Hedy Lamarr, a calculated careerist. While Hollywood fixated on her looks, she was always calculating her next move, making sure she stayed one step ahead of everyone else. Her entrance into Hollywood was no accident. She strategically aligned herself with the right people, impressing powerful studio heads who could make or break careers. MGM's Louis B. Mayer saw her as his next European starlet, but Hedy had conditions. She negotiated a better contract than most newcomers could dream of, proving she wasn't just another pretty face. Once she secured her place at the top, she made sure no one threatened her status. If another actress was gaining momentum, she found ways to outshine them. Studio executives catered to her, partly out of admiration, partly out of fear. If a director or co-star criticized her, she didn't just brush it off, she shut it down completely. As the industry evolved and her star began to fade, she refused to be seen as washed up. She severed ties with Hollywood, retreating from the spotlight rather than accepting smaller roles. Jane Russell, a mean streak behind the smile. Fans loved her no-nonsense attitude, but co-stars and directors often found her impossible to deal with. She spoke her mind without hesitation, even when it got her into trouble. She didn't just clash with directors, she outright defied them. If she thought a scene was beneath her, she'd push back. If she disagreed with a creative choice, she made sure her voice was heard, whether the crew liked it or not. This made working with her a constant battle of wills. Some directors admired her strong personality, but a second time. Russell also had strong opinions about her fellow actors, and she wasn't shy about sharing them. On the set of Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, she openly criticized Marilyn Monroe's work ethic, calling her a helpless child who needed constant reassurance. If Russell decided she didn't like someone, they were done. Susan Hayward, the Firebrand. She wasn't one to suffer fools, and on set she expected everyone to work as hard as she did. Directors who hesitated on decisions or actors who flubbed lines often found themselves on the receiving end of her fury. She could go from composed to explosive in seconds. One director learned this firsthand when Hayward snapped, "If you don't fix this scene, I will." It wasn't an empty threat. She made sure things were done her way. Her intensity wasn't just limited to film sets. She was known for holding grudges, and if someone crossed her, they weren't getting a second chance. One actress reportedly lost a major role after Hayward made a few calls to the right people. She had the influence, and she wasn't afraid to use it. Many co-stars dreaded working with her twice. Once you were on her bad side, you were there for life. Zazia Gabor, the Queen of Insults. Hollywood's most famous socialite wasn't interested in being liked. She wanted to be worshipped. Born into Hungarian nobility, she carried herself like a queen, and anyone who failed to treat her accordingly became the target of her razor-sharp wit. She publicly feuded with actresses she deemed beneath her, brushed off directors who tried to give her serious roles, and once declared, "I deserve attention, not direction." Her behavior wasn't just confined to the film industry. She insulted reporters, threw shade at ex-husbands, and famously said of one failed marriage, "I am a marvelous housekeeper. Every time I leave a man, I keep his house." In 1989, after a Beverly Hills police officer pulled her over for an expired license, she responded by slapping him across the face. That led to a court trial where she showed no remorse. She was sentenced to 3 days in jail, which she treated as another Hollywood appearance. Ginger Rogers, the demanding perfectionist. She expected perfection, no exceptions. Whether it was a co-star, director, or cinematographer, if she felt they weren't matching her effort, she let them know, bluntly. Her most famous partnership with Fred Astaire produced some of the greatest dance sequences in film history. But behind the scenes, things were far from harmonious. Rogers insisted on extra rehearsals, nitpicked choreography, and wasn't afraid to push back if she thought Astaire was off his game. He later admitted their rehearsals were exhausting, saying she had an iron will under all that blonde hair. Her control didn't stop at dance. Rogers regularly argued with directors over creative choices and insisted on reshooting scenes until they met her standards, sometimes driving productions over schedule and budget. She may have been a box office draw, but she left plenty of exhausted co-stars and frustrated filmmakers in her wake. In 1921, a young actress named Virginia Rappe died under mysterious circumstances at a party hosted by silent film star Roscoe "Fatty" Arbuckle. This controversy was just the beginning. For over a century, Hollywood has been a breeding ground for disturbing rumors that turned out to be all too real. Today we're pulling back the curtain on Tinseltown's darkest truths, the casting couch, early Hollywood's open secret. The term casting couch emerged in the 1920s, referring to a troubling practice where influential men took advantage of aspiring actors for inappropriate favors in exchange for roles. Louis B. Mayer, co-founder of MGM Studios, was notorious for this behavior. Mayer held private meetings with young actresses, often leading to uncomfortable situations. In 1935, dancer Patricia Douglas attended an MGM party where she was reportedly a victim of misconduct by a studio salesman. Despite filing charges, the case was quickly buried. Joan Crawford, who started her career in the 1920s, spoke about her experiences years later. "I never slept with a man I didn't want to. No one ever made me do anything I didn't want to do." However, her words hinted at the pressures faced by many actresses. Marilyn Monroe once said, "Hollywood is a place where they'll pay you $1,000 for a kiss and 50 cents for your soul." This quote reflects the industry's moral bankruptcy. In 1937, child star Shirley Temple, then 9 years old, was inappropriately approached by MGM producer Arthur Freed. When she laughed at him, Freed reportedly exposed himself. Temple's mother quickly removed her from the situation. The silent film era saw its share of scandals too. The Fatty Arbuckle case in 1921 shocked the nation when actress Virginia Rappe died after a party at his hotel. Though Arbuckle was eventually acquitted, the incident shed light on Hollywood's darker side. By the 1930s, the Hays Code was introduced to clean up Hollywood's image. However, behind closed doors, the exploitation continued. Judy Garland's studio-enforced diet pills. Her road to stardom was paved with studio control and dangerous health practices. MGM signed Garland at 13 in 1935. From the start, studio head Louis B. Mayer criticized her weight, calling her "my little hunchback." By 1938, during the filming of Love Finds Andy Hardy, 16-year-old Garland was put on a strict diet. Studio doctors prescribed Benzedrine and amphetamine for weight loss and seconal barbiturate to help her sleep. This dangerous cocktail kick-started a lifelong struggle with addiction. Garland's daily meal often consisted of just soup, black coffee, and 80 cigarettes, along with the prescribed pills. During the filming of The Wizard of Oz in 1939, the studio wanted her to lose more weight. She was 17 and weighed 94 pounds. In 1943, while filming Girl Crazy, Garland collapsed on set multiple times due to exhaustion and malnutrition. The studio's response was to give her a brief rest before pushing her back to work. Garland later recalled, "They had us working days and nights on end. They'd give us pills to keep us on our feet long after we were exhausted. Then they'd take us to the studio hospital and knock us out with sleeping pills." By 1947, Garland's health had deteriorated significantly. She attempted to end herself on the set of The Pirate. Despite this, MGM continued to push her, leading to her suspension in 1948 due to erratic behavior caused by addiction. "I was in the studio system for 15 years and I thought they were going to kill me," Garland said in a 1967 interview. She suffered numerous breakdowns and was admitted to sanitariums multiple times throughout her career. The long-term effects of this studio-enforced regimen were devastating. Garland struggled with addiction and health issues for the rest of her life. She died in 1969 at age 47 from an accidental overdose, a tragic end tied directly to the abusive practices she endured in her youth. Alfred Hitchcock's obsession with Tippi Hedren. His obsession with Tippi Hedren during the early 1960s revealed a dark side to the famed director. Hedren, a model-turned-actress, was discovered by Hitchcock in a TV commercial in 1961. He immediately signed her to a 7-year contract. Hedren's first role was in The Birds, 1963. During filming, Hitchcock's behavior became increasingly controlling. He dictated her wardrobe off-set and forbade her from socializing with the cast and crew. Hedren later stated, "Every time I'd be talking with a male member of the cast or crew, my next exchange with Hitchcock would be icy." The most harrowing incident occurred during the filming of the attic scene. Hedren was told mechanical birds would be used. Instead, live birds were thrown at her for 5 days straight. She suffered cuts, exhaustion, and a nervous breakdown. When a bird nearly pecked her eye, she snapped, "I think you got your scene, Mr. Hitchcock." In 1964, during the production of Marnie, Hitchcock's obsession intensified. He had a mask of Hedren's face made for his personal use, and installed a secret door between his office and her dressing room. Hedren recounted a disturbing incident in her trailer. "He touched me inappropriately. It was uncomfortable and deeply unsettling. The harder I fought him, the more aggressive he became." After Hedren refused his advances, Hitchcock threatened to ruin her career. True to his word, he kept her under contract for 2 years without work, effectively stalling her career. Hitchcock's behavior wasn't limited to Hedren. Actress Diane Baker, who co-starred in Marnie, observed, "I saw Hitchcock verbally abuse Tippy and I was shocked." In 1966, Hedren finally broke free from her contract with Hitchcock. However, the director's influence in Hollywood made it difficult for her to find work. She later said, "He ruined my career, but he didn't ruin my life." Hedren kept silent about these experiences for decades, only speaking out in detail in her 2016 memoir, Tippy. Her story shed light on the abuse of power that was all too common in Hollywood during that era. Roman Polanski's assault case. On March 10, 1977, film director Roman Polanski, then 43, was arrested in Los Angeles. The charge, drugging and misconduct of a 13-year-old girl, Samantha Gailey, now Guymer. The incident occurred at actor Jack Nicholson's home during a photo shoot for French Vogue. According to court documents, Polanski gave Gailey champagne and part of a Quaalude. He then allegedly continued with inappropriate actions despite her objections. Gailey later testified, "I was mostly just on and off saying, 'No, stop,' but I was afraid." Polanski faced legal charges on multiple counts related to inappropriate conduct, including allegations involving the use of a controlled substance and misconduct with a minor. He initially pleaded not guilty to all charges, but later accepted a plea bargain. On August 8, 1977, Polanski pleaded guilty to unlawful activity with a minor. Per the plea deal, the probation report recommended probation. However, on the day of sentencing, February 1, 1978, Polanski fled to France. He had learned that the judge, Lawrence J. Rittenband, planned to sentence him to prison and subsequent deportation. France refused to extradite Polanski due to its limited extradition treaty with the U.S. Polanski continued his film career in Europe, even winning an Oscar for The Pianist in 2003, which he couldn't collect in person. In 2009, Polanski was arrested in Switzerland at the request of U.S. authorities. He spent 67 days in custody before being released and returning to France. Guymer, the victim, has since stated she forgives Polanski and believes the case should be dropped. In a 2013 interview, she said, "I'm not going to carry a bunch of resentment, and much worse things happen to people." Despite this, attempts to resolve the case have been unsuccessful. In 2017, Polanski's offer to return to the U.S. for time served was rejected by L.A. County Superior Court Judge Scott Gordon. As of 2024, Polanski remains a fugitive from the U.S. justice system. Rob Lowe's tape scandal. In July 1988, 24-year-old actor Rob Lowe became embroiled in a controversy that nearly derailed his career. The incident occurred during the Democratic National Convention in Atlanta, where Lowe was supporting presidential candidate Michael Dukakis. On the night of July 17th, Lowe met 2 young women at a bar and brought them back to his hotel room. Unbeknownst to Lowe, one of the women, 16-year-old Jan Parsons, was underage. The encounter was videotaped, creating what would become one of Hollywood's first celebrity intimacy tape controversies. The tape surfaced months later when Parsons' mother found it and reported it to the authorities. On February 24, 1989, the story broke in the media, causing immediate shockwaves in Hollywood and beyond. Lowe initially denied any wrongdoing, claiming he didn't know Parsons was underage. He stated, "I didn't ask for ID going into a club. It was Atlanta, the home of Coca-Cola, not the home of underage girls." The controversy had severe consequences for Lowe's career. He was dropped from several film projects and lost numerous endorsement deals. His appearance at the 1989 Academy Awards was met with open hostility from some attendees. Legal ramifications followed. Lowe faced criminal charges for misconduct with a minor and distributing explicit material. To avoid prosecution, he agreed to perform 20 hours of community service in his home state of Ohio. The incident also led to a civil lawsuit from Parsons' family, which was settled out of court for an undisclosed sum. As part of the settlement, Lowe was required to publicly apologize. In the years following the scandal, Lowe worked to rebuild his career and reputation. He entered rehab for alcohol addiction in 1990, a move he credits with helping him turn his life around. Woody Allen's relationship with Soon-Yi Previn. In January 1992, Mia Farrow discovered unclothed photos of her adopted daughter, Soon-Yi Previn, in Woody Allen's apartment. Allen, then 56, had been in a relationship with Farrow for 12 years. Soon-Yi was 21 at the time and had been adopted by Farrow and her ex-husband Andre Previn years earlier. The discovery sent shockwaves through Hollywood and the public. Allen confirmed the relationship in August 1992, stating, "I'm thrilled." The admission came amid a bitter custody battle between Allen and Farrow over their 3 children. Allen's film, Husbands and Wives, released in September 1992, became unintentionally controversial due to its plot similarities to the real-life scandal. The film's premiere was marked by protests and media frenzy. In 1993, a judge in the custody case called Allen's behavior with Soon-Yi grossly inappropriate. The court denied Allen visitation rights with his daughter Dylan and limited contact with his son Satchel, now Ronan Farrow. Despite the controversy, Allen and Soon-Yi married in Venice on December 23, 1997. Allen was 62, Soon-Yi 27. The ceremony was small, with only a handful of guests present. In a rare 2015 interview with NPR, Allen addressed the relationship's beginnings. "I was paternal. She responded to someone paternal." This statement further fueled critics who found the relationship's power dynamics disturbing. The scandal significantly impacted Allen's career. Several actors, including Greta Gerwig and Timothée Chalamet, later expressed regret for working with him. Amazon Studios terminated a 4-picture deal with Allen in 2019, citing renewed allegations of misconduct by Dylan Farrow. As of 2024, Allen and Soon-Yi remain married and have 2 adopted daughters. The controversy continues to spark debates about power, consent, and morality in Hollywood relationships. R. Kelly's illegal marriage to Aaliyah. On August 31, 1994, R&B singer R. Kelly, then 27, illegally married his 15-year-old protégée Aaliyah in a secret ceremony in Rosemont, Illinois. The marriage certificate falsely listed Aaliyah's age as 18. Kelly had met Aaliyah 3 years earlier when she was 12. He became her mentor, producer, and lead songwriter for her debut album, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number, released in May 1994. The album's title now seems disturbingly prophetic. Vibe magazine published a copy of the marriage certificate in December 1994. The revelation sparked immediate controversy. Aaliyah's family was reportedly furious and moved quickly to have the marriage annulled in February 1995. Kelly's former tour manager, Demetrius Smith, later admitted to obtaining a fake ID for Aaliyah. In the 2019 documentary Surviving R. Kelly, Smith stated, "I was in the room when they got married. I'm not proud of that." Both Kelly and Aaliyah initially denied the marriage. In a 1994 interview, Aaliyah said, "I'm not married. That's all there is to it." She maintained this stance until she died in a plane crash in 2001. The illegal marriage came to light again during Kelly's 2019 arrest on federal charges. Prosecutors alleged Kelly bribed a government official in Illinois to create a fake ID for Aaliyah. In 2021, during Kelly's exploitation trial, a witness testified that Kelly married Aaliyah because he believed she was pregnant with his child. The marriage would have protected Kelly from charges. Kelly was ultimately convicted on all 9 counts against him, including racketeering and exploitation. The illegal marriage to Aaliyah was a key part of the prosecution's case. Harvey Weinstein's decades of serious misconduct. On October 5, 2017, the New York Times published an exposé detailing nearly 3 decades of coercion allegations against Hollywood producer Harvey Weinstein. The article, by Jodi Kantor and Megan Toohey, cited interviews with numerous women in the film industry. Among the first accusers were actress Ashley Judd and former Weinstein employee Laura Madden. Judd recounted a 1997 incident where Weinstein invited her to his hotel room and asked for a massage. Madden described similar experiences in the early 1990s. The article revealed that Weinstein had reached at least 8 settlements with women who accused him of unwanted physical contact and advances. These settlements, dating back to 1990, were often accompanied by non-disclosure agreements. 5 days after the Times article, The New Yorker published Ronan Farrow's investigation, which included 13 more women's accounts of alleged abuse by Weinstein. 3 women accused Weinstein of SA. Actress Rose McGowan, who had alluded to her experience for years, publicly accused Weinstein of serious misconduct on October 12, 2017. She stated she was paid $100,000 in 1997 to sign a non-disclosure agreement. By October 31st, over 80 women had come forward with allegations against Weinstein. The list included high-profile actresses like Gwyneth Paltrow, Angelina Jolie, and Salma Hayek. Weinstein was dismissed from the Weinstein Company on October 8, 2017. He was later arrested and charged in New York on May 25, 2018, for serious misconduct. On February 24, 2020, Weinstein was found guilty of 2 serious offenses and sentenced to 23 years in prison. Bill Cosby's serial assaults. For decades, Bill Cosby was known as America's dad, beloved for his role on The Cosby Show. However, beneath this wholesome image lurked a serial predator whose crimes spanned half a century. The first public accusation against Cosby came in 2005 when Andrea Constand filed a lawsuit alleging he drugged and acted inappropriately toward her in 2004. During the case, 13 other women came forward with similar stories. The suit was settled out of court in 2006 for $338 million. Despite these allegations, Cosby's career continued largely unaffected until October 16, 2014. During a stand-up performance in Philadelphia, comedian Hannibal Buress seriously referred to Cosby, rekindling public interest in the allegations against him. In the following months, dozens of women came forward with stories of coercion dating back to the 1960s. Many described a similar pattern. Cosby would offer them drinks, which were allegedly drugged, and then SA them while they were incapacitated. On December 30, 2015, Cosby was arrested and charged with 3 counts of aggravated indecent moves against Andrea Constand. This was the first criminal case against Cosby, as most other allegations fell outside the statute of limitations. Cosby's first trial in 2017 ended in a mistrial due to a hung jury. However, in a retrial on April 26, 2018, Cosby was found guilty on all 3 counts. On September 25, 2018, he was sentenced to 3 to 10 years in state prison. During the trial, 5 other women testified about their experiences with Cosby, establishing a pattern of behavior. One of these women, Janice Dickinson, testified that Cosby coerced her in 1982 after giving her a pill. Cosby's conviction was overturned by the Pennsylvania Supreme Court on June 30, 2021, due to a violation of his due process rights. He was released from prison the same day, having served nearly 3 years. Kevin Spacey's predatory behavior. On October 29, 2017, actor Anthony Rapp alleged that Kevin Spacey made a misappropriate advance toward him in 1986, when Rapp was 14 and Spacey was 26. This accusation, published in a BuzzFeed article, marked the beginning of Spacey's downfall. Spacey responded on Twitter, claiming no memory of the incident, but offering an apology. In the same statement, he came out as gay, a move widely criticized as an attempt to deflect from the allegations. Following Rapp's accusation, numerous other men came forward with similar stories. On November 1, 2017, actor Roberto Cavazos alleged that Spacey groped him in the mid-2000s at the Old Vic Theatre in London, where Spacey was artistic director from 2004 to 2015. The Old Vic conducted an internal investigation revealing 20 personal testimonies of alleged inappropriate behavior by Spacey between 1995 and 2013. Many of these incidents occurred on the theater's premises. On November 3, 2017, Netflix cut all ties with Spacey, halting production on House of Cards and shelving his film Gore. Ridley Scott reshot Spacey's scenes in All the Money in the World, replacing him with Christopher Plummer just weeks before the film's release. In 2018, Spacey was charged with indecent conduct in Nantucket, Massachusetts, for allegedly groping an 18-year-old man in 2016. The case was later dropped when the accuser invoked his Fifth Amendment rights during a hearing about his missing phone. In May 2022, Spacey was charged with 4 counts of SA against 3 men in the UK, dating back to incidents between 2005 and 2013. In July 2023, Spacey was found not guilty of these charges in a UK court. Despite the court verdict, Spacey's career has been irreparably damaged. His last major film role was in 2018's Billionaire Boys Club, which earned only $618 on its opening day.
In the early 1940s, Ava Gardner went from being a poor teenager from Grabtown to being one of the most desired stars in Hollywood. While this transformation changed her financial status, fame came with its challenges. From navigating Hollywood as a young, attractive woman to having romantic relationships with some of the most attractive men in Hollywood, Ava Gardner lived an interesting life. In the late 1980s, she decided to let the world know some of her deepest, darkest secrets by writing a memoir. You are about to unveil some of the shocking revelations she penned down in her memoir. The Calm Before the Storm. Like many other Hollywood stars, Ava Gardner came from humble beginnings. Several years before the spotlight shone on her, Ava Gardner was living a normal life in the rural community of Grabtown. Born on Christmas Eve in 1922, Ava Gardner was the 7th child of Jonas and Mary Gardner. Right from childhood, Ava was a bright young girl, and greatness was written all over her. She spent her early years surrounded by her siblings and parents as they lived in a farmhouse. She grew up enveloped by the enchanting landscapes of the rural South, where cotton fields stretched as far as the eye could see, and the sunsets painted the sky in hues of gold and crimson. Around their house, there were acres of land where her parents cultivated cotton in order to earn a living. Truth is, Ava's parents were hardworking people, and they did all they could to provide for their children, but tragedy soon struck and frustrated their efforts. When Ava turned 3, her family experienced something that shook the foundation of their close-knit family. It was said that a fire erupted and burnt down their barn and cotton gin to the ground. It was a terrible experience that completely changed their lives. The tragedy left their finances in shambles, and Ava's family had to start again from scratch. Her family would later be relocated to Brogden, where her parents took on odd jobs in order to survive. With the dawn of the Great Depression, things got worse for the family, but through it all, her parents insisted on Ava and her sisters getting basic education. After the unfortunate death of her father in 1938, Ava and her family were left to fend for themselves. Somehow, growing up in these difficult situations made Ava Gardner even more resilient. She would later find herself gravitating towards the world of showbiz. Interestingly, her mother saw that she had star potential right from the start and encouraged her to step into Hollywood when the opportunity presented itself. Ava Gardner was still very young when she was discovered. Sure, she was excited about being a Hollywood star, but nothing prepared her for the shocking events that would unfold. Entering the tumultuous world of Hollywood, it was like a dream come true when Ava Gardner was selected to be one of MGM's young stars. Little did this 18-year-old know that fame and influence came at a cost. In the bustling streets of New York City, a star was about to be born, and her name was Ava Gardner. Her journey to Hollywood stardom was set in motion by a series of serendipitous events and the discovery of her radiant beauty. As fate would have it, one fateful day, her elder sister's husband, who was a portrait photographer, thought it would be wise to take pictures of young Ava Gardner and display them in his studio. Ava Gardner's beauty and natural charisma were evident from the moment she stepped in front of Larry Tarr's camera. Recognizing her potential, Tarr wasted no time and took several captivating portraits of the young beauty. Larry Tarr was so impressed by Ava's photographs that he displayed them in the window of his photography studio. Little did he know that these very pictures would become the catalyst for Ava's journey to stardom. One of those very portraits caught the eye of a prominent talent agent, who was immediately struck by Ava's stunning features and undeniable allure. This agent wasted no time in reaching out to Ava and offering her an opportunity that would change her life forever. The name of this influential talent agent was Al Altman. He saw in Ava Gardner the potential for greatness and saw to it that her talent was recognized by the right people in the entertainment industry. It wasn't long before Ava's unique beauty and promising star quality caught the attention of none other than MGM Studios, one of Hollywood's most prestigious film studios. MGM was determined to turn this diamond in the rough into a shining star on the silver screen. She may not have aced her first test in the studio, but they believed that they could train her and turn her into a star. With a contract in hand, Ava Gardner bid farewell to her life in New York and embarked on a new chapter in Hollywood. It was 1941 when she made her debut in a small role in the film Babes on Broadway, which was just the beginning of her remarkable career. Her looks were undeniably instrumental in opening doors for her in Hollywood. With her piercing green eyes, cascading brunette locks, and radiant smile that could light up the darkest room, she possessed a kind of beauty that was simply irresistible. But it wasn't just her beauty that set her apart. Ava had a presence and confidence that demanded attention, making her a standout among the aspiring starlets of the time. As she honed her acting skills and gained more experience, critics and audiences alike couldn't help but notice the raw talent that lay beneath her beautiful exterior. She had a unique ability to connect with her characters and bring them to life on the screen. As the years went by, Ava Gardner's star continued to rise, and she went on to deliver unforgettable performances in iconic films like The Killers, Mogambo, and The Barefoot Contessa, making her one of the brightest stars in Hollywood. As expected, her glory days in Hollywood came with a lot of attention from men. She was one of the most desired actresses of her time, and a lot of influential men wanted to be with her. But after several years of fame and influence, Ava Gardner found herself in a dark place in the late 1980s. The lights had dimmed and the applause had faded. She was broke, alone, and usually drowning in alcohol. This was the period that she made up her mind to write a memoir, revealing some of her deepest, darkest secrets. Her shocking revelations about Mickey Rooney. "I either write the book or sell the jewels, and I'm kinda sentimental about the jewels." Ava Gardner said this as she explained why she made up her mind to write a book. She desperately needed to get out of the financial situation she was in, and she knew without a shadow of a doubt that a memoir would grab the attention of several people and sell like crazy. As soon as her mind was made up, she called the renowned British journalist Peter Evans to ghostwrite a book filled with her deathbed confessions. At the very top of her confession list was the story of her relationship and marriage to none other than Mickey Rooney. Ava Gardner was only 19 years old when she met Mickey Rooney on the MGM set. The young Mike Rooney was filming a comedic musical number when Ava Gardner stepped in. Mickey was completely mesmerized by her beauty, and he could not resist her. Soon after, they fell in love and got married. Ava revealed that she was innocent and still a virgin when she married Mickey Rooney. In her memoir, she stated that Mike Rooney was extremely sexually attracted to her and that she had no idea that he was a cheater. In her words, "I still didn't know he was the biggest wolf on the lot. He'd screw anything that moved." The two youngsters seemed like the it couple, but their marriage was not as it seemed on the surface. In her memoir, Ava Gardner made shocking revelations about her tumultuous relationship with Mike Rooney. According to her, her marriage to Mickey Rooney would become a tumultuous affair, riddled with betrayal and heartache. After their wedding, he began to unleash the cheater in him. She recalled a particular incident that took place at one of the lowest moments of her life. She had fallen ill and was hospitalized after an appendectomy. To her greatest surprise, Mike Rooney didn't hesitate to cheat on her. Even though Ava was recovering from an appendectomy in the hospital, Mickey Rooney's wandering eye knew no bounds. In a stunning display of audacity, he chose to cheat on his stunning wife right in their marital bed. As Ava Gardner lay in the hospital, weakened from the surgery, She never expected her husband's disloyalty to strike so close to home. The betrayal in her most vulnerable moment was proof of Rooney's reckless behavior all through their marriage. Known for his insatiable appetite for women, Mickey Rooney seemed to move from one conquest to another with ease. According to Ava, he went through the ladies like a hot knife through fudge, indicating the extent of his infidelity. Through her candid statement, Ava Gardner shed light on the painful reality of her marriage, unveiling the heartache she endured as her husband's eyes wandered all through their marriage. Through it all, they maintained an image of a perfect couple on the outside, until their marriage came crumbling down in May 1943, a year later. Sadly, her tumultuous first marriage was only the beginning of a series of romantic relationships that would affect Ava Gardner in ways she never imagined. She never loved Howard Hughes. After her first marriage came to an end, the actress got into a relationship with Howard Hughes. She had genuinely given her heart to Mike Rooney, but she couldn't say the same for Howard Hughes. In her memoir, she revealed that she never loved Howard. She made it clear that she was appreciative of what he did for her mother, but she didn't like certain things about him. When her mother was dying, Howard paid for her medical care. This was a reflection of his kind heart, but there were some things about him that she just couldn't shake off. In her memoir, she alleged that Howard had prejudiced views and biased attitudes. In her words, Howard wouldn't piss on a black man to put him out if he was on fire. As surprising as this revelation was, Ava Gardner was just getting started. Her next revelation was about Artie Shaw, her second husband. She called Artie Shaw a bully. Her career was beginning to take off in the mid-1940s, and everything seemed to be going well. Then she met Artie Shaw. He seemed like the perfect man, but time would prove otherwise. As fate would have it, Ava's introduction to Artie came through a mutual friend, actress Frances Heflin, and it was an encounter that sparked a whirlwind romance. Artie had just returned from the Second World War, and he was riding the waves of fame as a celebrated band leader and composer. When they met, they looked like a match made in heaven. With his intelligence and charisma, Ava fell head over heels for him in no time. Their love blossomed, and after several months of dating, Ava took the leap and moved in with Artie. On a serene October day in 1945, the couple exchanged vows in a small ceremony at their Beverly Hills abode. Ava was 22 at the time, while Artie was 35 years old. Their age gap seemed to not be a problem, and their love certainly looked beautiful on the outside. Unfortunately, the fairy tale took a bitter turn once the confetti settled. Despite a longer courtship and living together before tying the knot, their marital bliss was short-lived, and the relationship began to unravel after the wedding bells had chimed. In the pages of her memoir, Ava Gardner would later lift the curtain on the truth behind her turbulent marriage. The Artie Shaw she thought she knew was not the man he appeared to be. Ava revealed that beneath Shaw's suave exterior lay a different side, a kind of bully who constantly belittled her, chipping away at her confidence and happiness. In her words, he was another kind of bully. He was always putting me down. The revelation in her memoir was a shocking twist in the tale of their love story, unveiling a darker reality behind the glamorous facade of Hollywood's golden couple. Ava Gardner's revelation about Artie Shaw certainly came as a shock to a lot of people who thought their marriage was flawless, but what was even more surprising was what she did as a result of the pain that Artie Shaw put her through. She took an IQ test. Within the pages of her memoir, Ava Gardner would unveil something that she did while she was married to Artie Shaw. Despite the success she had amassed in Hollywood, Ava claimed that she found herself grappling with feelings of intellectual inadequacy when she was married to Artie Shaw. She claimed that she was so unhappy that she found herself indulging in vices. According to her, she was smoking 3 packs of Winston's a day and getting drunk constantly while she was married to Artie Shaw. In her words, he had me convinced that I was completely stupid. I didn't have an enormous IQ, but I did have a high one. In her memoir, she revealed that her then-husband, Artie Shaw, said and did things that made her doubt herself. Ava felt intellectually overshadowed by Shaw's brilliance, which left her yearning for a way to measure her own intelligence. In search of validation, she decided to take an IQ test. The IQ test became a pivotal moment in Ava's life, as it revealed that her insecurities were unfounded. Her results indicated a high score, proving that she was more than just a woman with good looks. She possessed intelligence and wit that could rival the best. The revelation of her high IQ score was both empowering and liberating for Ava. After seeing the test result, her self-doubt was finally put to rest. The couple later got divorced on the 25th of October 1946. She claimed that Artie dumped her 1 week after their first anniversary for another woman. However, the end of her marriage to Artie Shaw would lead her to a man that she considered the love of her life, finding true love and a secret affair. When Frank Sinatra laid his eyes on Ava Gardner, he knew then and there that he wanted her for himself, but he was married at the time. Although he ended up leaving his wife for her, Ava Gardner revealed that she was unfaithful to Frank Sinatra. In the late 1940s, Ava Gardner's career was on the rise. She was making waves for her role in high-profile movies like The Hucksters and The Great Sinner. This was the period that she began to fall in love with renowned singer and actor Frank Sinatra. Ava and Frank Sinatra initially met while she was still married to her first husband, but nothing transpired between them until they met again in a party in 1949. Frank was still married to Grace Sinatra at the time, but their marriage was reportedly in shambles. It was said that Ava and Frank could not stay away from each other, so they began a secret love affair. They tried to be discreet, but the world soon found out about it. In her memoir, she said Frank Sinatra knew that it was true love on the first date. This was how their first date went. In the late-night hours, as they embarked on a drunken drive from Palm Springs to Indio, an adventure unfolded that solidified their bond. Armed with a pair of .38s kept in his glove compartment, the chairman and his beloved companion playfully shot out streetlights and store windows, leaving behind a trail of unforgettable memories. Frank was in the process of divorcing his wife at the time, but as soon as the divorce was final, he and Ava tied the knot in 1951. Ava was in her late 20s at the time, and Frank was in his mid-50s. Their love was said to be electrifying at the start, but things soon changed. In her memoir, she revealed that they started having problems during their courtship. From the outset, their courtship seemed like a tempestuous whirlwind, marked by fiery encounters and bouts of boozing and fighting. While their passionate connection drew them together, it also led them down a path filled with turbulence and emotional storms. Ava also revealed that she got pregnant twice when she was with Frank Sinatra, and she aborted both times. These heart-wrenching choices made amidst the strains of their relationship left an indelible mark on both of their lives. As the years passed, the fervor that once brought them together couldn't save them from their own inner demons. The same intensity that sparked their romance seemed to fuel their conflicts, leading to a marriage that mirrored the turbulence of their courtship. Their union became plagued by public dispute and chaos that filled the tabloids. Shockingly, one of Ava Gardner's deathbed revelations was about her secret affair with Robert Mitchum. She revealed that while she was seeing Frank Sinatra, she was having an affair with Robert. In her words, "I was crazy about him." When she summoned the courage to tell Robert that she was also seeing Frank Sinatra, he ended things immediately. In her memoir, she detailed what he said: "Get into a fight with him and he won't stop until one of you is dead." Gardner said Robert didn't want to risk it being him, so he fled for his life. Frank Sinatra and Ava kept trying to make things work, but after a while they decided to end things. Their divorce was later finalized on the 5th of July, 1957. Ava went on to reveal more facts about her relationships, but her claims about what George Scott did to her were indeed shocking. George C. Scott did this to her behind closed doors. One of Ava Gardner's deathbed revelations was the truth about her brief relationship with George Scott. While the duo were dating back in the day, their fans admired them and people said they were a cute couple. However, there was nothing cute about what was happening between the couple behind closed doors. She claimed that George Scott had been abusive towards her while they were in a relationship. She went on to detail one of the fights they had and how dark it got. According to her, he got physically abusive when he was drunk. In one of their fights, she said Scott smashed bottles to make weapons. She was terrified of what he was going to do next, but again, he had abused her this way before. In her words, He was kneeling across me, waving the jagged edges of the glass in front of my face with one hand and hitting me with the other, telling me he loved me and smashing a fist into my eye. "Marry me, do you hear what I'm saying?" Followed by another blow. People were certainly shocked to find out that she endured all this, but of all the things she said in her memoir, she made it clear that she was aware that she made bad choices when it came to men. She also said that her friend warned her about some of the men that she dated, but she didn't listen. Lana Turner tried to warn her. All through her lifetime, some of her heartache came as a result of the men she chose to date. Perhaps if she listened to her best friend, things would have been different. Ava Gardner's best friend, Lana Turner, was also known to have attracted some of the most successful and influential men at the time. Interestingly, she was once romantically involved with some of the men that Ava Gardner was later involved with. She saw the different sides to these men, and she knew what they were capable of, so she didn't hesitate to advise Ava Gardner. When Ava Gardner told Lana about her decision to be with Frank Sinatra, Lana begged her not to go through with it. Interestingly, Lana had affairs with both Frank Sinatra and Shaw in the past, so she was well equipped to advise her friend. Recalling what her best friend told her, Ava Gardner wrote, "I've been there, honey," she told me. "Don't do it." I should have listened to her. The deed had already been done. She got into the relationships, learned her lessons, and lived to tell her story. The actress's life was truly one hell of a ride, but through it all, she tried to live life to the fullest. Although she started married to each of her husbands for a short period, Hollywood has seen many stars, but there are some that are just unforgettable. Lonnie Anderson, the sensational TV star who made waves in the 70s, is a clear example of a Hollywood star who is both irreplaceable and unforgettable. From 1966 to date, Lonnie has shown the world what it means to be a phenomenal actress. Over the years, she has risen above the storms of life and etched her name in the history of Hollywood. She may be in her 70s right now, but she looks nothing like her age, and it may surprise you to know that she is still acting. This gorgeous and talented actress has led a life that is worth emulating, and these mind-blowing facts about her will surely leave you shocked and inspired at the same time. Why she decided to teach. In the 70s and 80s, Lonnie was living the life of a superstar, and she was loving it. However, most people don't know what her life looked like before the fame. In her early 20s, she made certain decisions that left her on the brink of poverty, and she had no choice but to take on certain jobs to support herself and her baby. See, Lonnie Anderson has always been one to turn lemons into lemonades, and her attitude towards a broken marriage was not any different. Before she got famous, the actress was living a normal life. Sure, she had the makings of a superstar, but she had not caught the acting bug yet. So her focus at the time was building a family with a man she had fallen in love with, Bruce Hasselberg. The couple later welcomed a beautiful daughter, but things quickly went sour. Their marriage ended in a divorce before Lonnie even turned 21, and she was left to fend for herself and her baby. This was one of the most trying times in Lonnie's life, especially because she didn't plan on ending up alone at such a young age with such a huge responsibility. However, instead of running away from her problems, she decides to face the situation head-on. Lonnie made up her mind to do everything in her power to fend for her child, even if it meant taking on a teaching job. Sure, she was young, but she was also determined to build a better life for herself. The marriage may have ended, but she soon realized that she had her whole life ahead of her and she had the power to transform her life. So she took on a teaching position and poured her heart into it. As she was teaching, she also used the opportunity to complete college, knowing well that being educated will open more doors for her in future. Soon enough, she was able to earn enough to take care of herself and provide her daughter's basic needs. This phase of her life is not one that a lot of people know about, but it surely contributed to making her the resilient person she is known as today. Since then, Lonnie has taken every challenge that life has thrown her way and turned it around for her good. She is truly a fighter, and success is never far from people like her. More than a sex symbol. In an industry where beauty is an acceptable currency, Lonnie wanted to offer more than just beauty. The world saw her as a sex symbol, but she wanted more for herself. There is no denying that Lonnie Anderson was on top of the world in the peak years of her career, and her looks contributed greatly to her success. Her timeless beauty possessed an ethereal allure with her cascading golden locks, sparkling azure eyes that mirrored the vast skies of admiration, and a captivating smile that could light up the darkest rooms. Her curvaceous silhouette and graceful demeanor enchanted audiences and made it easy for her to stay relevant at a time when physical attractiveness was in high demand in the industry. When her star began to rise, people fell in love with her for a lot of reasons. Some loved her acting skills, while others fell in love with her looks. Her presence on screens reminded people of the likes of Jane Mansfield and Marilyn Monroe, and as much as she loved being associated with those names, there was a part of her that wanted more. Being seen as a sex symbol got her a lot of fame and attention, but she knew that she had more to offer, so she decided to do everything in her power to show her fans that her skills were mind-blowing. As her career progressed, she started working towards becoming a more versatile actress and being loved for more than just her physical looks. With every role she took on, she strategically showcased her diverse skills and made career decisions that allowed her to show the world what she was capable of. Unlike a lot of actresses who were not able to break free from the sex symbol tag, Lonnie strategically worked on her career until people began to see beyond her looks and endowed body. These days, when her name is mentioned in a room, people remember her as the phenomenal actress who embodied diverse roles and gave her fans performances they will never forget. It is impossible to refer to her as just a sex symbol because she has made it clear to the world that she is way more than that. She is a versatile actress who can transform herself into different characters in different genres. From drama to comedy and many more genres, Lonnie Anderson has been unstoppable over the years. You would agree that it takes a certain level of stubbornness and persistence for a celebrity to change the image that people have of them. Lonnie Anderson stopped at nothing till she became the actress that she dreamed of becoming, and her tenacity inspires several women till date. Bold advocate. When she came into the industry, it wasn't just about the glitz and glam for her. She had her eyes set on more. She wasn't just here to be a famous actress. She wanted to be a trailblazer, a force to be reckoned with in the industry. One look at Lonnie Anderson's career exploits, and one can tell that the actress has always been determined to empower women and speak up when she felt like women were treated unfairly. She was not just your average Hollywood starlet, but a fierce advocate for equal opportunities and a champion for women everywhere. From the pinnacle of her career to the present day, she's been on a relentless mission to support and uplift her fellow women. It's like she took a superhero oath to fight for equality, and boy, did she deliver. There is no denying that unequal pay has been the thorn in the side of the entertainment industry for ages. But when Lonnie Anderson strolled in, she wasn't having any of it. She rolled up her sleeves, fixed her gaze on the inequality bullseye, and declared war. Lonnie became a trailblazer in demanding equal pay, making waves as one of the first female celebs to throw down the gauntlet on WKRP in Cincinnati. In a world where the pay gap was as wide as the Grand Canyon, Lonnie stood tall and said, "Enough is enough." But she didn't just stop at demanding equal pay. She became a beacon of empowerment for women everywhere. Her actions echoed louder than any script she ever delivered. Lonnie Anderson wasn't just another actress. She was a fierce advocate for change, a catalyst for a shift in the status quo. Fast forward to today, and Lonnie's legacy is etched in the annals of Hollywood. She's not just a name on the Walk of Fame, she's a symbol of resilience, a reminder that one person can spark a revolution. In a world where inequality still rears its ugly head, Lonnie Anderson, her life shows what happens when a woman possesses the power of determination, when a woman refuses to let the spotlight dim the fire within her. She raises awareness for cancer research and COPD. If there is someone who believes that her voice makes a difference, it's Lonnie Anderson. Over the years, the actress has spoken boldly and supported causes that matter to her regardless of what people have said. Clearly, there's so much more to this lady than meets the eye. Not many people know this about the actress, but Lonnie, the powerhouse herself, boldly stepped into the ring against breast cancer, and she beat it. Yep, she didn't just beat it, she gave it a knockout punch. But instead of just sipping margaritas by the beach after her victory, she decided to dive headfirst into the world of advocacy. This incredible woman raised her voice like a rock star for cancer research. She became a beacon of hope, shining a light on the importance of awareness. And let's not forget the cold, hard cash needed to fund the research that can save lives. She selflessly donated to this cause. She would have easily used the money to acquire luxurious items for herself, just like a lot of celebrities do, but she decided that it was better to put her funds into a project that would better the lives of others and help people that have cancer. Knowing that she was contributing to cancer research gave her a sense of fulfillment and purpose. Interestingly, Lonnie Anderson didn't stop at just one fight. Nope, she grabbed the mic again, this time for COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. Why, you ask? Well, it turns out her parents were in a serious relationship with cigarettes, and it affected their health so much that they ended up with COPD. Lonnie saw the toll it took on her family, and she made up her mind not to let others go through what her folks endured. It's safe to say that Lonnie Anderson is the unsung hero, fighting battles off-screen, using her voice not just to entertain, but to make a real difference in the world. Whether it's cancer or COPD, she's there, a fierce advocate with a heart as big as Hollywood. She's proving that a glamorous Hollywood life can come with a side of meaningful impact. Resilient through the storms. Now, we've all heard tales of celebrities who crumble under the weight of fame, but not Lonnie. She's got a determination and perseverance that could give anyone in the entertainment industry a run for their money. The road she's traveled has been anything but smooth, marked by challenges and a fair share of highly publicized, tumultuous relationships that had the tabloids working overtime. One of the most challenging phases of her life was her high-profile marriage to Reynolds in 1988. It started off like a Hollywood fairy tale, blissful moments, an adopted son named Quentin, but the script quickly flipped. The fairy tale turned into a roller coaster hurtling towards a nasty divorce in 1993 that left both stars with their reputations hanging by a thread. And you know what the beautiful thing is? Despite the relentless scrutiny and public fallout, Lonnie Anderson didn't crumble. Nope, not her. She found a way to rise above it all, navigating through the stormy seas of tabloid chaos with an admirable grace. Imagine the headlines, the whispers, the judgment. It's enough to shake anyone to their core, but not Lonnie. She stood tall, weathering the storms of tumultuous marriages and personal problems with a resilience that's truly awe-inspiring. Her career may have faced some turbulence along the way, but she emerged from the chaos with her spirit unbroken. She is like an unsinkable ship sailing through the unpredictable waters of fame, through marriages that made headlines and personal struggles that would make anyone falter. She not only endured, but triumphed. In a town where the spotlight can burn, Lonnie's resilience shines like a beacon, proving that sometimes the most beautiful stars are the ones that withstand the toughest storms. This Hollywood legend has shown us the true meaning of grace under pressure. She spread her wings. Many people know Lonnie as an actress, but not many people know that this sensational actress has also worked as a producer. From the very beginning of her career, Lonnie made a conscious effort to stand out. In a town where everyone's vying for the spotlight, she found her own spotlight and shone brilliantly. It wasn't just about the looks or the charisma. It was about that extra something that made Lonnie uniquely herself. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Lonnie Anderson wasn't content with just being in front of the camera. No, she decided to spread her wings and venture into the world of production. Now that takes guts. Imagine stepping out of the comfort zone of being a celebrated actress to take charge behind the scenes. One of her notable ventures into production was the TV movie White Hot: The Mysterious Murder of Thelma Todd, where she not only starred, but also wore the producer's hat. It's one thing to take on a challenging role, but it's a whole different ballgame to oversee the entire production. Yet, Lonnie wasn't one to shy away from challenges. She embraced them. But Lani Anderson didn't stop there. She went on to produce another TV movie titled Sorry, Wrong Number, showcasing not only her acting prowess, but also her knack for bringing compelling stories to the screen. It's a bold move to invest not just your talent, but your time and resources into creating your own works. And that's exactly what Lani did. And let's not forget her foray into sitcom production with Easy Street. It's like she said, "Why settle for just one role when I can wear multiple hats?" She took charge, made decisions, and brought her creative vision to life. Lani Anderson didn't just follow the Hollywood script, she wrote her own. From captivating audiences as an actress to making waves as a producer, she's proven that true greatness lies in the courage to stand out and take charge. This Hollywood icon is not just a star on the screen, but a force behind it, rewriting the rules and leaving her mark in the industry. Staying relevant in the industry. A lot of people believe that when an actress gets older, it becomes difficult for such an actress to survive in the industry. This is because younger actresses are usually prioritized when it comes to acting opportunities, but Lani's story has been different over the years, and at over 78 years young, Lani is still very much a force to be reckoned with in the entertainment industry. Now, that's not just impressive, it's downright inspiring. She hasn't let age become a roadblock. Instead, she's turned it into a stepping stone to showcase that talent knows no expiration date. While others might be contemplating retirement, Lani remains an active and vibrant presence in the industry. She has refused to slow down because there's still so much to explore and share. Her commitment to her craft is nothing short of admirable. What's even more remarkable is that she's not just sitting pretty, she's diving headfirst into various projects. Television appearances? Check. Charity events? Absolutely. Lani Anderson isn't just relevant. She's an integral part of the entertainment landscape, proving that age is but a number. Interestingly, she's slated to feature in a Lifetime film, Ladies of the 80s, A Diva's Christmas. Lani isn't just making appearances, she's securing leading roles and keeping the audience hooked with her undeniable charm and talent. In a world that often dismisses seasoned actresses, Lani Anderson is a beacon of resilience and tenacity. She's showing the industry and the world that there's so much more to offer beyond the stereotypes associated with age. Every day that passes by, she proves that staying relevant isn't about fighting against time, but dancing with it, embracing every chapter of life, and showing that the spotlight belongs to those who continue to shine, no matter how many candles are on their birthday cake. The selfless philanthropist. You know, Lani Anderson isn't just a fantastic actress, she's got a heart of gold too. One mind-blowing fact about her is that she's been making a real impact through her philanthropic endeavors. It's not just about the glitz and glamour of Hollywood for her. She's dedicated to making a positive difference. One shining example of her commitment is the Celebrity Recognition Award she received from the American Cancer Society. Now picture this, Lani, not just gracing our screens with her talent, but also being recognized for her efforts in the fight against cancer. This award isn't just a shiny trophy, it represents the tireless work she's put into supporting cancer-related causes. It's like a big thumbs up from the universe, acknowledging her significant contributions. You can almost see her not just as a TV icon, but as a real-life hero, standing up for something bigger than herself. And it doesn't stop there. Lani's involvement in philanthropy goes beyond awards and recognition. She's actively working to make the world a better place, showing that kindness is just as glamorous as any Hollywood premiere. It's like she's using her fame not just to shine in the spotlight, but also to shine a light on important causes. Lani Anderson is not just a talented actress, but also a compassionate soul making waves in the world of philanthropy. It's a side of her that adds an extra layer of awe and admiration to the person we see on our screens. And who knows, maybe she's inspiring others to take up the mantle of doing good in their own way. Lani is not just entertaining us, but also for making the world a better place, one award and one act of kindness at a time. She was honored in a special way. In 1986, Lani Anderson, the actress we all know and love, got the Hollywood treatment. No, not another blockbuster movie. something even more iconic. She got her very own star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Now, imagine strolling down that legendary sidewalk, surrounded by the glitz and glamour of Tinseltown. As you walk, you spot Lonnie's star shining brightly among the countless others. It's like a glittering constellation in the concrete jungle of Hollywood, and she earned her place there. This prestigious honor showed her outstanding contributions to the entertainment industry. It's not just about being a talented actress, it's about leaving an indelible mark that stands the test of time, and Lonnie did just that. So that star isn't just a piece of sidewalk bling, it's a symbol of a career that's captured our hearts and stood out in the vast landscape of showbiz. It's like a permanent applause for all those unforgettable moments she shared with us on screen. Getting a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame is like etching your name in the history of Hollywood, and Lonnie Anderson did it in style. Her career has spanned for over 7 decades. Imagine the entertainment industry as a glamorous, high-stakes arena where dreams are chased and hearts are broken. Many aspire to enter, but only a few make it through the audition room, and even fewer manage to stay relevant for decades. Lonnie Anderson? Well, she's one of those few who not only entered the scene, but left a remarkable legacy, carving a path that's lasted over 7 decades. To survive and thrive in the entertainment industry is like navigating a roller coaster of highs and lows, and Lonnie's career is the embodiment of this wild ride. It's not just about talent, it's about the tenacity to weather the storms, the patience to endure the slow climbs, and the courage to keep pushing forward when the spotlight seems a distant dream. Think about it, she didn't just burst onto the scene and disappear after a brief moment of fame. Nope. When the going got tough, Lonnie kept on pushing. Whether it was the early days when her career was taking baby steps or the pinnacle of her fame, she demonstrated an unparalleled determination to not just survive but thrive. And here's the beauty of it, she didn't just rest on her laurels once she hit the big time. Instead, she used her newfound fame to develop the skills and character traits necessary to sustain her position in the industry. It's like she turned every challenge into an opportunity for growth, evolving with the industry and staying relevant through the ever-changing tides of showbiz. Lonnie Anderson's career is not just a resume, it's a saga of passion, persistence, and an unwavering commitment to the craft. It's safe to say that she's a living legend. In the puzzling world of the 1960s cinema, amidst psychedelic hues and cultural revolutions, emerged a face that would both captivate and mystify the world. Ewa Aulin. A Swedish siren whose journey from a small town to the dizzying heights of Hollywood reads like a script from the very films she starred in. It was 1968, the year that reshaped Hollywood, when Ewa Aulin, barely 18, stepped into a role that would etch her name in the annals of film history. Candy, a film that flirted with controversy and seduced the era's rebellious spirit, became the vortex that pulled Aulin into a whirlwind of fame. But behind the camera's adoring gaze and the bright lights of stardom lay a path less seen, filled with twists and turns that led to her sudden, almost ghost-like disappearance from the silver screen. As the world moved on, the enigma of Ewa Aulin remained. Was she a comet that burned too bright, too fast? Or was there more to the story of the girl who became an icon overnight and then, just as quickly, vanished? This is a journey back in time, a search for the untold story of Ewa Aulin, the star of Candy, whose life off-screen remained shrouded in mystery. What secrets lie behind her enigmatic smile? What truths wait to be uncovered? Join us as we delve into the unseen side of a star who left more questions than answers in her wake. Unraveling Ewa Aulin. In the late 1960s, a young Swedish actress named Ewa Aulin captured the imagination of the film world. Born in 1950 in Landskrona, Sweden, Ewa's journey to stardom was as rapid as it was remarkable. With her ethereal beauty and captivating screen presence, she quickly became a symbol of the era's cinematic revolution. Ewa's early life in Sweden was far removed from the glamour of Hollywood. Growing up in a small town, she was discovered in her teens and soon found herself thrust into the limelight. Her natural talent and striking looks caught the attention of filmmakers, and it wasn't long before she was on her way to becoming an international sensation. Her rise to fame was meteoric. At just 17, Ewa won the title of Miss Teen Sweden, catapulting her into the public eye. This victory opened doors to the world of cinema, leading her to roles that would define her career. Ewa's allure wasn't just in her physical appearance, it was her ability to convey depth and emotion on screen that set her apart. However, the path to fame is often fraught with challenges. For Ewa, the sudden exposure and the pressures of the industry were overwhelming. The transition from a small-town girl to a sought-after actress in international cinema was a journey filled with excitement, but also with unforeseen difficulties. Ewa Owlin's story is not just one of fame and film. It's a tale of a young woman navigating the complexities of a rapidly changing industry. Her early roles, while not as widely known as her later work, showcased her range and potential. They were the first steps in a career that would see her become an icon of her time. As we unravel the story of Ewa Owlin, we delve into the making of a star. Her ascent in the film industry, marked by both dazzling highs and challenging lows, paints a picture of an era and a talent that left an indelible mark on cinema. Ewa's story is a testament to the allure and the trials of the film world, a world that she both enchanted and was ultimately disillusioned by. The candy controversy. The year 1968 marked a pivotal moment in Ewa Owlin's career with the release of Candy, a film that would become synonymous with her name. Candy, based on the novel by Terry Southern and Mason Hoffenberg, was a satirical take on Voltaire's Candide, reimagined in a psychedelic, sexually charged landscape of the 1960s. Owlin, cast in the titular role, found herself at the center of a cinematic storm that would define her career. The film, directed by Christian Marquand, featured an ensemble cast of renowned actors, including Marlon Brando, Richard Burton, and Ringo Starr. Yet it was Ewa, a relatively unknown Swedish actress, who stole the spotlight. Her portrayal of the naive and beautiful Candy Christian was both lauded and criticized. For some, she embodied the free spirit of the era. For others, her character was a contentious symbol of the sexual revolution. Candy was controversial from the start. Its overt sexual themes and irreverent humor pushed the boundaries of mainstream cinema. The film was a bold exploration of sexuality, power, and the absurdity of societal norms. It was this audacity that made Candy a cult classic, but it also sparked debates and backlash. Critics were polarized, with some praising its daring approach, while others condemned it for its perceived vulgarity. For Ewa Owlin, Candy was both a blessing and a curse. The film catapulted her to international fame, making her a household name overnight. However, the controversy surrounding the film also typecast her, limiting her opportunities to showcase her range as an actress. The role of Candy Christian became a double-edged sword, offering fame but at the cost of artistic freedom. The impact of Candy on Ewa's career was profound. It opened doors to new projects and collaborations, but it also overshadowed her other work. The film's legacy, tied closely to Ewa's own, is a complex one. It stands as a testament to a bold and experimental era in cinema, but also as a reminder of the challenges faced by young actresses thrust into the spotlight. Ewa Owlin's experience with Candy reflects the broader dynamics of the film industry in the 1960s. It was a time of great change and experimentation, but also of controversy and debate. Candy remains a significant, if contentious, part of Ewa's legacy, a film that encapsulates the paradoxes of fame and artistic expression in an era that redefined cinema. Stardom's hidden shadows. Ewa Owlin's ascent to stardom, while rapid and dazzling, was not without its challenges. The glare of the spotlight often hides the less glamorous realities faced by those in the entertainment industry, and Ewa's experience was no exception. Her journey through the world of cinema during the late 1960s and early 1970s revealed the complexities and pressures that come with sudden fame, especially for a young actress. After Candy, Ewa found herself navigating a film industry that was both enamored by her charm and indifferent to her aspirations as an artist. The industry, particularly at that time, was known for its harsh realities, often overshadowed by the glitz of celebrity culture. Young actors, especially women, faced immense pressure to conform to certain roles and expectations. Ewa, with her ethereal beauty and European allure, was often typecast, limiting her ability to explore diverse and challenging roles. The psychological toll of this typecasting and the relentless pace of the industry began to weigh on Ewa. The transition from a teenager in Sweden to an international film star was a whirlwind that left little room for personal growth or reflection. The constant scrutiny, the need to maintain a public persona, and the lack of privacy were aspects of fame that Ewa, like many in her position, found difficult to navigate. Moreover, the film industry of that era was not known for its support of mental health or its sensitivity to the personal struggles of its stars. The focus was often on capitalizing on an actor's current fame with little regard for their long-term well-being. This environment could be particularly challenging for someone as young and inexperienced as Ewa was at the time. Ewa's story is reflective of the broader experience of many young actors thrust into the limelight. The hidden shadows of stardom, the loneliness, the typecasting, the pressure to maintain a certain image are often overlooked in the narratives of glamour and success. Ewa Aulin's journey through the highs and lows of fame provides a poignant insight into the often unseen challenges faced by those in the world of cinema. Her experiences during this period highlight the need for a more supportive and understanding industry, one that recognizes the human element behind the screen. Ewa's career, marked by both remarkable achievements and personal struggles, serves as a reminder of the complex reality that lies beneath the surface of stardom. Beyond the spotlight. Ewa Aulin's career, while marked by significant cinematic achievements, also tells a story of a young woman seeking her identity beyond the confines of the silver screen. As the 1970s progressed, Ewa began to explore life beyond her established persona as a film star. This chapter of her life is less documented, yet it is crucial in understanding the person behind the celebrity. After the whirlwind of Candy and subsequent roles, Ewa started to question her place in the film industry. The constant public scrutiny and the pressures of fame led her to yearn for a more grounded existence. She began to seek a life that allowed her personal growth and exploration, away from the expectations of Hollywood. This period in Ewa's life was marked by a deliberate step back from the limelight. She turned down roles that did not align with her evolving interests and started to pursue a life that was not defined solely by her acting career. This decision was bold, especially considering the momentum she had gained in the industry. However, it reflected her desire for authenticity and her need to carve out a space for herself beyond her public image. Ewa Aulin's move away from the constant glare of the film industry was not just a retreat, it was an exploration of a different kind of fulfillment. It was about redefining success on her own terms and finding contentment beyond the accolades and applause. Her life beyond the spotlight is a powerful narrative of personal resilience and the search for authenticity in a world that often values appearance over substance. Ewa's enigmatic exit. Her departure from the film industry was as enigmatic as her rise to fame. In the mid-1970s, at a time when many expected her career to continue its upward trajectory, Ewa made the unexpected decision to step away from acting. This move sparked curiosity and speculation among her fans and the media, as it seemed to contradict the typical aspirations of a rising star. The reasons behind Ewa's decision to leave the film industry were multifaceted and personal. One factor was her desire to pursue education. Ewa had always valued learning and personal development, and stepping away from acting provided her with the opportunity to focus on her studies. she enrolled in university, a choice that was at odds with the expectations of a Hollywood starlet, but aligned with her personal aspirations. Another aspect that influenced Iwa's decision was her disillusionment with the film industry. The reality of working in cinema, with its relentless focus on image and marketability, clashed with her personal values and aspirations for artistic expression. Iwa sought roles that challenged her as an actress, but such opportunities were scarce, leading to a sense of frustration and a reevaluation of her career path. Rumors and speculation about Iwa's sudden exit abounded. Some suggested that she was overwhelmed by the pressures of fame, while others speculated about possible personal reasons behind her decision. The truth, as is often the case with public figures, was likely a complex combination of personal and professional factors. Iwa's exit from acting was a bold move that left many unanswered questions. It was a decision that reflected her desire for autonomy and her willingness to forge a path that diverged from the expectations of the entertainment industry. Her departure from the film world marked the end of a significant chapter in her life, but also the beginning of a new journey of self-discovery and fulfillment. Iwa Aulin's enigmatic exit from the film industry remains a fascinating aspect of her story. It speaks to the challenges faced by young actors in navigating fame and highlights the courage it takes to make unconventional choices in pursuit of personal authenticity. Her departure from acting is a reminder of the often unseen struggles of those in the limelight and the complex realities behind the facade of celebrity. Lesser-known roles. Iwa Aulin's filmography, while often overshadowed by her role in Candy, includes a variety of lesser-known works that showcase her range and depth as an actress. These roles, though not as widely recognized, offer a glimpse into her versatility and her willingness to explore diverse characters and themes. One such film is Death Laid an Egg, a unique blend of giallo and science fiction genres. In this avant-garde Italian thriller, Iwa played Gabrielle, a character entangled in a complex plot involving love, murder, and genetic engineering. Her performance in this unconventional film demonstrated her ability to adapt to challenging and unconventional roles, far removed from the innocence of Candy Christian. Another notable but less discussed role of Iwa's was in The Double Bed, a dramatic exploration of marital strife and infidelity. In this film, Iwa portrayed a young woman caught in a tumultuous relationship, showcasing her capacity to convey deep emotional turmoil and vulnerability. Her performance was a departure from her more whimsical roles, revealing a more serious and introspective side of her acting abilities. Iwa also appeared in Microscopic Liquid Subway to Oblivion, a film that delved into the dark and surreal aspects of drug addiction. Her role in this film was a stark contrast to her previous characters, as it required a portrayal of the gritty and harrowing realities of substance abuse. This role was a testament to her willingness to tackle difficult and controversial subjects, further highlighting her range as an actress. In addition to these films, Iwa took on roles in various European productions, each presenting different challenges and opportunities for artistic expression. These roles, though not as celebrated as her work in Candy, were crucial in shaping her career and artistic journey. They allowed her to experiment with different genres and character types, broadening her experience and skills as an actress. Iwa's lesser-known roles are essential in understanding her as an actress and an artist. They demonstrate her desire to push boundaries and explore the complexities of human experience through her craft. These roles also reflect the diverse opportunities and challenges she faced in the film industry, shaping her path as an actress. While these roles did not garner the same level of fame as Candy, they are integral to Iwa Aulin's legacy. They showcase a side of her talent that is often overlooked, but is equally deserving of recognition and appreciation. Her performances in these lesser-known films are a testament to her versatility and commitment to her craft, offering a more nuanced view of her abilities and contributions to cinema. The truth behind Iwa Aulin rumors. Ewa Aulin's rise to fame was accompanied by a swirl of rumors and speculations, some of which have persisted over the years. This chapter aims to shed light on these rumors, separating fact from fiction and providing a clearer picture of Ewa's life and career. One of the most persistent rumors about Ewa Aulin was that her departure from the film industry was due to a nervous breakdown. This speculation was fueled by her sudden disappearance from the public eye and the demanding nature of her early career. However, this rumor lacks substantial evidence. Wa's decision to leave acting was more about seeking personal fulfillment and education rather than a result of mental health issues. Her choice was a conscious and deliberate move towards a different path in life, driven by her own desires and aspirations. Another rumor that circulated was regarding Ewa's relationships with high-profile figures in the entertainment industry. Tabloids often linked her romantically with various co-stars and directors. While it's common for actors to be subject to such gossip, in Ewa's case, these stories were more fiction than reality. Ewa maintained a level of professionalism in her work that kept her personal and professional lives separate. Most of these rumored relationships were either exaggerated or entirely fabricated by the media. There were also rumors about Ewa being difficult to work with on set. These stories portrayed her as temperamental and demanding. However, colleagues and directors who worked with Ewa often spoke of her as a dedicated and hard-working actress. The narrative of her being a difficult star seems to be a classic case of misunderstanding and misrepresentation, a not uncommon occurrence in the film industry, especially for young actresses. Ewa's life post-Hollywood also became a subject of speculation. Rumors ranged from her living a reclusive life to her completely abandoning her past as an actress. The truth is more mundane and relatable. Ewa chose a life of normalcy, focusing on her education and family. She did not shun her past, but instead chose to not let it define her entire existence. A legacy revisited. Ewa Aulin's legacy in the film industry, though brief, left an indelible mark on the cinematic landscape of the 1960s and 70s. Her departure from acting did not diminish the impact she had made, particularly with her role in Candy. Over the years, her work, especially in this iconic film, has been revisited and re-evaluated, gaining her a new generation of admirers. Candy, once mired in controversy, has come to be appreciated for its daring approach and its commentary on the cultural and sexual revolutions of the era. Ewa's portrayal of Candy Christian, initially met with mixed reviews, is now often viewed in a different light. Critics and fans alike have come to recognize the complexity of her performance, which captured the innocence and satire inherent in the character. Beyond Candy, Ewa's other film roles, though less known, have also received attention. Films like Death Laid an Egg and The Double Bed showcase her versatility as an actress and her willingness to explore unconventional roles. These films, along with her brief but memorable career, contribute to a legacy that is both unique and intriguing. Ewa's decision to leave the film industry, once seen as abrupt and puzzling, is now often viewed as a bold and personal choice. In an era where celebrity culture often dictates one's path, Ewa's choice to prioritize her own well-being and interest is seen as a sign of strength and self-awareness. The legacy of Ewa Aulin is not just in the roles she played, but also in the narrative of her career. Her journey from a celebrated actress to a private individual pursuing education and personal growth is a story that resonates with many. It speaks to the universal themes of self-discovery, the search for authenticity, and the courage to follow one's own path. As time passes, Ewa Aulin's contribution to cinema continues to be appreciated by film enthusiasts and scholars. Her work remains a testament to a time of experimentation and change in the film industry, and her story is a reminder of the human aspect behind the glamour of the silver screen. Ewa's legacy, both on and off the screen, continues to inspire and captivate audiences, making her a lasting figure in the history of film. Ewa today, the untold story. After leaving the film industry, Ewa chose a life away from the limelight, focusing on personal pursuits and a quieter existence. This shift has led to much curiosity about her current life and activities. Ewa's decision to step back from public life was a deliberate one, reflecting her desire for normalcy and privacy. Unlike many former celebrities who maintain a public presence, Ewa has largely stayed out of the media and public discourse. This choice has naturally led to speculation and interest in her current whereabouts and activities. Despite her withdrawal from public life, Ewa occasionally resurfaces in media reports or interviews, providing glimpses into her life after fame. These rare appearances have revealed that she pursued education and focused on family life, embracing roles far removed from her former celebrity status. The lack of extensive public information about Ewa's current life has led to a sense of mystery surrounding her. Fans and film historians often express curiosity about her post-Hollywood journey, wondering how she has navigated life after fame. This curiosity is a testament to the lasting impact of her brief but memorable career in the film industry. Ewa Owland's story today is a narrative of choice and the pursuit of a life defined by personal values rather than public expectations. Her decision to live away from the public eye is a powerful statement about the value of privacy and the right to redefine one's life on one's own terms.
Grace Kelly, fishing an emerald bracelet out of a fish tank while completely nude. It's not a scene from one of her famous films, but a real-life moment that exposed her secret affair. The Princess of Monaco wasn't always royal, and her path to the throne was paved with scandals and secrets. Buckle up as we dive into the juicy details of Grace Kelly's most shocking indiscretion. The rising star. She was born on November 12, 1929 in Philadelphia. The third of 4 children, Grace Patricia Kelly grew up in a wealthy family. Her father, John B. Kelly Sr., was an Olympic gold medalist in rowing, winning 3 gold medals in the 1920 and 1924 Olympics. He later became a successful businessman in the brickmaking industry, amassing a fortune of over $200 million in today's currency. Her mother, Margaret Catherine Major, was the first woman to head the physical education department at the University of Pennsylvania. The Kelly household was strict and achievement-oriented, with Grace often feeling overshadowed by her athletic siblings. At age 12, Grace acted in her first play, Don't Feed the Animals, at the Old Academy Players in East Falls. This early experience sparked her passion for acting. Throughout her teens, she participated in school plays and local theater productions, often taking on challenging roles beyond her years. In 1947, at 18, she moved to New York City to pursue her dreams. She enrolled at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts, paying her own tuition by modeling on the side. Her modeling work included appearances in magazines like Cosmopolitan and TV commercials for Old Gold cigarettes and Bayer aspirin. She earned $400 a week from modeling, a substantial sum at the time. During her time at the Academy, Grace studied under renowned acting coach Sanford Meisner, who helped shape her naturalistic acting style. She also took dance lessons and worked on perfecting her diction, determined to lose her Philadelphia accent. Her first big break came in 1949 when she debuted on Broadway in The Father by August Strindberg. Though the play ran for only 69 performances, it caught the attention of Hollywood producers. Critics praised her luminous quality, foreshadowing her future screen presence. In 1951, she made her film debut in 14 Hours, playing a small role as Louise Ann Fuller. The part lasted only 2 minutes on screen, but it was enough to get her noticed. Director Henry Hathaway later said, "There was something very special about her. She was graceful, gracious, and projected an inner calm." Her breakthrough came in 1952 when she starred opposite Gary Cooper in High Noon. The film was a massive success, winning 4 Academy Awards. Grace's performance as Amy Fowler Kane earned her critical acclaim and opened doors in Hollywood. The New York Times praised her bravely gallant and strong performance, highlighting her ability to hold her own against the veteran Cooper. During this time, she dated several high-profile men, including Clark Gable and Ray Milland. However, she kept her personal life private, cultivating an image of elegance and sophistication. She was often seen at the Stork Club, a popular celebrity haunt, but always maintained a dignified presence. In a rare interview from that period, Grace said, "I think it's because I was brought up believing it was graceless to talk about yourself and immodest to call attention to yourself. This reticence only added to her mystique and appeal." By 1953, at just 24 years old, Grace had become one of Hollywood's most sought-after actresses. She signed a 7-year contract with MGM, worth $750 per week with built-in raises. The American Academy Romance. In 1947, Grace Kelly began her studies at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts in New York City. The prestigious school, founded in 1884, had already produced stars like Spencer Tracy and Lauren Bacall. During her time at the Academy, she met Don Richardson, a 30-year-old instructor. Richardson, married but separated, taught acting and directed student productions. Despite their 12-year age gap, the two quickly developed a close relationship. Grace excelled in her studies, earning praise from instructors and fellow students alike. In her second year, she played the lead in the Academy's production of The Philadelphia Story, a role that would later become iconic in her film career. Richardson, impressed by her talent and beauty, began to mentor her closely. Their relationship soon turned romantic, though they kept it discreet due to the school's policies and Richardson's marital status. In a later interview, Richardson recalled, "Grace was not the naive, sheltered girl many thought. She was a determined young woman who knew what she wanted. Her time at the Academy was marked by hard work and ambition. She took on various jobs to support herself, including modeling for the Walter Thornton Agency and working as a photographer's assistant." The relationship with Richardson continued to deepen, becoming a significant part of her early adult life. It was her first serious romance, and it would later play a crucial role in shaping her approach to relationships. By the time Grace graduated from the Academy in 1949, she had not only honed her acting skills, but also experienced her first taste of the complex romantic entanglements that would later define her personal life. Family disapproval. In 1950, Grace Kelly brought Don Richardson home to Philadelphia to meet her family. The Kellys, a prominent Irish Catholic household, lived in a stately brick mansion in the East Falls neighborhood. Her father, Jack Kelly, was a self-made millionaire and former Olympic rower. Her mother, Margaret, was a former model and swimming instructor. The family, including 3 siblings, adhered to strict Catholic values. The meeting was tense from the start. Jack Kelly, known for his blunt manner, immediately took issue with Richardson. He was 12 years older than Grace, still legally married and Jewish. All red flags for the conservative Kellys. During dinner, Jack Kelly reportedly asked Richardson pointed questions about his background and intentions. Her mother, Margaret, remained politely distant throughout the evening. Grace's older sister, Peggy, later recalled, "Father was furious. He couldn't believe she would bring home someone so unsuitable." The family's disapproval was clear. Jack Kelly allegedly told her, "No daughter of mine will be involved with a divorced man, let alone a Jew." This rejection deeply upset Grace, who had hoped her family would see beyond their prejudices. She stood by Richardson, causing a rift with her parents that would take months to heal. Despite the family's objections, she continued her relationship with Richardson in New York. She balanced her budding acting career with her romance, often sneaking away from auditions to meet him. The conflict with her family over Richardson marked one of the first times Grace openly defied her parents' wishes. It showcased her independence and willingness to follow her heart, traits that would define her throughout her life. This period of tension lasted several months, during which she had limited contact with her family. She threw herself into her work, landing small roles in television and theater productions. Grace's other suitors. As Grace Kelly's star rose in Hollywood, so did her list of admirers. Between 1951 and 1955, she was linked to several high-profile men, each adding to her growing reputation as a desirable leading lady. One of her early romances was with the debonair Oleg Cassini, a fashion designer who dressed Hollywood's elite. Cassini, 15 years her senior, proposed marriage in 1954. She accepted but later broke off the engagement, citing family pressure. In 1953, during the filming of Mogambo, she had a brief affair with Clark Gable. Gable, then 52, was captivated by the 24-year-old actress. Their on-set romance was an open secret, with co-star Ava Gardner later quipping, "Grace was the only woman I ever knew who slept with her makeup on." Another notable suitor was Claudius Charles Philippe, the charismatic banquet manager of the Waldorf Astoria Hotel. Philippe, known for his connections in high society, courted Grace with extravagant gestures and introduced her to New York's elite social circles. Perhaps the most intriguing of her paramours was Ali Khan, a wealthy playboy and son of the Aga Khan III. Khan, fresh from his divorce from Rita Hayworth, pursued Grace relentlessly. Their affair was discreet but intense, with Khan showering her with expensive gifts. During this period, she also dated Ray Milland, her co-star in Dial M for Murder. Their relationship caused a scandal as Milland was married at the time. Her dating life became fodder for gossip columns. Hedda Hopper, a famous Hollywood columnist, once wrote, "Grace Kelly's romances are as varied as her film roles. One wonders which will lead to a lasting performance." Despite the attention on her love life, Grace maintained a public image of sophistication and discretion. She rarely commented on her relationships, once telling a reporter, "A woman's private life should remain private." In late 1951, Grace Kelly received a stunning emerald bracelet. The piece was exquisite, a gold band studded with large, vivid green emeralds. Its value was estimated at over $5,000, a small fortune at the time. The bracelet's origin became a subject of speculation. Many believed it was a gift from Ali Khan, known for his lavish presents to lovers. Khan had a habit of giving similar jewelry to his paramours, often recycling designs. Grace wore the bracelet sparingly, aware of its potential to spark gossip. She was seen with it at a few Hollywood parties, always deflecting questions about its provenance. During a fitting for High Noon in 1952, costume designer Edith Head noticed the bracelet. Head later recalled, "It was too opulent for a young actress's salary. I knew it must have come from an admirer." The bracelet became a secret symbol of her hidden romantic life. She kept it in a locked jewelry box in her apartment, away from prying eyes. In March 1952, Grace attended a charity gala wearing the bracelet. Gossip columnist Luella Parsons noted in her column, "Miss Kelly's new emerald bracelet caused quite a stir. One wonders who the generous benefactor might be." The jeweler who created the bracelet, wishing to remain anonymous, described it years later. "It was a custom piece designed to catch the light. Whoever commissioned it wanted to make a statement." Grace's close friend, actress Rita Gam, once asked about the bracelet. Grace reportedly smiled and said, "A lady never tells, darling." The fateful evening. On a crisp autumn evening in 1952, Grace Kelly invited Don Richardson to her New York apartment. She had just finished filming Mogambo and was back in the city for a brief stay. The apartment, located on East 66th Street, was a small but elegantly furnished one-bedroom. She had decorated it herself, mixing antiques with modern pieces. Richardson arrived around 8 p.m., bringing a bottle of champagne to celebrate Grace's recent success. The couple had been seeing each other less frequently due to her busy filming schedule. Grace greeted him wearing a simple black dress, her hair loose around her shoulders. What caught Richardson's eye, however, was the emerald bracelet glinting on her wrist. The evening began pleasantly. They shared a light dinner Grace had prepared, a salad and cold chicken, a recipe she'd learned from her mother. After dinner, they moved to the small living room. She put on a record, Frank Sinatra's "I've Got You Under My Skin," and poured more champagne. As they talked, Grace seemed distracted, frequently touching the emerald bracelet. Richardson later recalled, she kept fiddling with it, almost nervously. Around 10 p.m., she excused herself to change. When she returned, she was wearing nothing but the emerald bracelet. This bold move was uncharacteristic of the usually reserved Grace. The confrontation. Richardson, who had been in a relationship with Kelly for several months, noticed a distinctive emerald bracelet she was wearing. He recognized it as similar to one he had seen on another woman at a party. That woman had mentioned it was a gift from Ali Khan, a well-known playboy and international socialite. When Richardson questioned Kelly about the bracelet's origin, she was unable to provide a satisfactory explanation. This led to a heated discussion about their relationship and Kelly's involvement with other men, particularly Ali Khan. The confrontation resulted in the end of Kelly and Richardson's relationship. Richardson, feeling betrayed, broke things off with Kelly. Grace's primary concern following the breakup was likely protecting her public image and burgeoning career. As a rising star in Hollywood, she was acutely aware of the potential damage that personal scandals could cause. In the days and weeks following the incident, Grace continued her work in Hollywood without any public hint of personal turmoil. She maintained her carefully cultivated image of elegance and purity, which was crucial to her appeal as an actress. The bracelet incident, while significant in her personal life, did not impact her professional trajectory. Grace's career continued to flourish, suggesting that she was adept at separating her private affairs from her public persona. Hollywood ascent. In the wake of the bracelet incident, Grace Kelly threw herself into her work. 1953 saw her star rise meteorically in Hollywood, transforming her from a promising newcomer to a bona fide A-list celebrity. Her performance in Mogambo alongside Clark Gable and Ava Gardner earned her first Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actress. The film, directed by John Ford, was a romantic adventure set in Africa. It grossed over $8 million at the box office, a substantial sum for the time. On set, director John Ford praised Grace's professionalism. "She's always prepared, always on time," he told reporters. A director's dream. Ford, known for his gruff demeanor, rarely gave such effusive praise, making his words all the more impactful in Hollywood circles. In rapid succession, she appeared in 5 films in 1954, an incredible feat that demonstrated her work ethic and versatility as an actress. Dial M for Murder, directed by Alfred Hitchcock, was her first collaboration with the master of suspense. The Thriller, in which she played a woman marked for murder by her husband, made $2.7 million domestically. Hitchcock was impressed by Grace's ability to project vulnerability and strength simultaneously. Rear Window, another Hitchcock classic, followed. Her chemistry with James Stewart was palpable, and the film earned $5.3 million at the box office. Her character, Lisa Fremont, became a fashion icon, with women across America clamoring to emulate her elegant style. Edith Head, the costume designer, said, "Never have I worked with someone who knew so instinctively what worked for her on screen." The country girl proved to be Grace's defining role. Playing against type as Georgie Elgin, the dowdy wife of an alcoholic, she stunned critics and audiences alike. To prepare for the role, she spent time observing the wives of alcoholics in support groups, bringing a raw authenticity to her performance. Variety praised her eloquent portrayal, calling it a tour de force. The film grossed $6.5 million, impressive for a dramatic piece without action or adventure elements. On March 30th, 1955, she won the Academy Award for Best Actress for The Country Girl. At 25, she was one of the youngest winners in that category. The ceremony, held at the RKO Pantages Theater in Hollywood, was a star-studded affair. She beat out stiff competition, including Judy Garland, who many had considered the favorite for A Star is Born. In her acceptance speech, Grace said, "The thrill of this moment keeps me from saying what I really feel." The audience gave her a standing ovation that lasted nearly a full minute. Behind the scenes, she worked tirelessly. She often spent 14-hour days on set, followed by hours memorizing lines for her next role. She was known to arrive on set before dawn, often beating the crew to prepare for her scenes. By the end of 1955, Grace had become one of Hollywood's highest-paid actresses, commanding $100,000 per film. This put her in the same league as established stars like Marilyn Monroe and Elizabeth Taylor. She had also successfully buried any whispers of scandal, her public image untarnished by her private affairs. In just 3 years, she had gone from a relative unknown to an Oscar-winning superstar, setting the stage for what many expected to be a long and illustrious career in cinema. The Hitchcock years and royal destiny. In 1955, Grace Kelly's collaboration with Alfred Hitchcock reached its peak with To Catch a Thief. Filmed on the French Riviera, it grossed $8.75 million worldwide. The film's success was due in large part to the chemistry between Grace and her co-star, Cary Grant. Hitchcock utilized the stunning locations and her elegance to create a visually sumptuous film that audiences flocked to see. Hitchcock praised Grace's acting, saying, "She's the only actress I've worked with who has a complete understanding of the frame." This high praise from the notoriously perfectionist director spoke volumes about her technical skill and screen presence. Hitchcock would later admit that Grace was his favorite actress to work with, citing her intelligence and ability to take direction. During the Cannes Film Festival in May 1955, Grace met Prince Rainier III of Monaco. The meeting, arranged by Olivia De Havland, lasted only 15 minutes, but would change the course of her life. She was in Cannes to promote To Catch a Thief and represent the U.S. delegation at the festival. The brief encounter with Rainier was initially seen as nothing more than a photo opportunity. In December, Rainier visited the U.S. on a tour to bolster American support for his small principality. He reconnected with Grace in Philadelphia, where he was a guest at the Kelly family home. After just 3 days, Rainier proposed to her with a Cartier engagement ring featuring a 10.47-carat emerald-cut diamond. The whirlwind romance caught the public's imagination, with newspapers dubbing it a real-life fairy tale. MGM, seeing a publicity opportunity, agreed to pay the $2 million dowry demanded by Monaco. They also negotiated to film the wedding, resulting in the documentary The Wedding in Monaco. This savvy move by the studio turned what could have been a loss, Grace leaving acting, into a publicity coup. Her last film, High Society, wrapped in January 1956. A musical remake of The Philadelphia Story, it co-starred Bing Crosby and Frank Sinatra. The film would gross $13 million, becoming her highest-grossing picture. It was a bittersweet experience for her, knowing it would be her final Hollywood role. On April 18, 1956, Grace Kelly married Prince Rainier in a lavish ceremony watched by an estimated 30 million television viewers. The event was dubbed the Wedding of the Century by the press. Monaco declared a national holiday, and the celebration lasted for 2 days. The wedding required 2 ceremonies, a civil ceremony on April 18th and a religious one on April 19th. Grace's wedding dress, designed by Helen Rose of MGM, used 25 yards of silk taffeta and 100 yards of silk net. The dress took 30 seamstresses 6 weeks to complete and has since inspired countless bridal gowns, including that of Kate Middleton. After the wedding, Grace retired from acting at age 26. She had made only 11 films in her 7-year career, but her impact on cinema was undeniable. Her decision to leave Hollywood at the height of her fame was shocking to many, with some predicting she would eventually return to acting. In her final press conference as an actress, she stated, "I'm not leaving Hollywood. I'm simply going to a new kind of acting." This cryptic statement left the door open for speculation about her future involvement in the arts. As Princess of Monaco, she focused on charity work and cultural initiatives. She established the Princess Grace Foundation to support local artisans and artists. Grace also worked to modernize Monaco's constitution and economy, helping to transform the principality from a sleepy tax haven to a modern state. Despite her new role, Grace never completely left the world of entertainment. She narrated documentary films, gave poetry readings, and even considered a return to acting in 1977 for Hitchcock's The Short Night. However, public opinion in Monaco against their princess returning to acting ultimately led her to decline the role.
Barbie Benton, a name synonymous with glamour, a face that graced magazine covers, and a life wrapped in the sparkle of Hollywood's golden era. Yet behind the sequins and smiles lies a trail of secrets and stories untold, whispers of a life far more intricate than the public ever glimpsed. What hidden depths lie beneath the image of this entertainment world's darling, and how did a girl once known for her beauty become an unsung architect of her own destiny? Hidden chords of fame. Before the flashing cameras and the glitz of stardom, Barbie Benton harbored a passion that struck a chord quite literally: music. While the world fixated on her beauty and her ties to the Playboy empire, few knew that Barbie's first love was the melody and harmony of song. Her musical journey began long before the fame, in the quiet corners of her adolescence, where she honed her skills on the piano and guitar, crafting the foundation of what would become a significant yet overshadowed part of her career. In the early 1970s, Barbie's vocal talents came to light as she serenaded audiences on television, showcasing a sultry voice that was as captivating as her image. With a mind young and wild, and a body that the devil... She released several albums, and while her musical career may not have reached the dizzying heights of her modeling, it was a testament to her multifaceted abilities. Songs like Brass Buckles and Ain't That Just the Way charted internationally, hinting at the depth of talent beneath the surface. But music was more than just a career path for Barbie. It was an escape, a way to express her inner world, and a realm where she held the reins. Behind the studio doors, she was not just a performer, but a creative force, involved in the songwriting and production processes. Her music spoke of love and life, infusing country with pop, and it carried the authenticity of her experiences. Her collaborations with artists like Dolly Parton and Glen Campbell added layers to her musical persona, positioning her within a network of country legends, yet she remained an enigma, her music career a hidden gem overshadowed by her more publicized endeavors. As we delve deeper into the life of Barbie Benton, stay tuned for the next reveal, how a young woman known for her appearances in the pages of Playboy and on arm of its mogul quietly influenced one of the most iconic brands of the 20th century. The Mansion Whisperer, inside Barbie Benton's influence on the Playboy empire. Barbie Benton's name is often whispered in the same breath as the Playboy Mansion, yet few understand the gravity of her influence within its legendary walls. Beyond her public persona as Hugh Hefner's paramour, Benton was a key figure in shaping the cultural and physical landscape of the Playboy empire. It was Barbie who, in the early 1970s, discovered the sprawling estate that would become the Playboy Mansion West. Her keen eye for design and architecture played a crucial role in its transformation into a symbol of luxury and hedonism. But her influence didn't stop at mere aesthetics. She left an indelible mark on the ethos of the brand. With her sophisticated taste and understanding of the era's zeitgeist, she helped guide Hefner's vision, turning Playboy into a bastion of the sexual revolution. Her involvement in the mansion's legendary events is part of the untold tapestry of her life. Benton didn't just attend these extravagant gatherings. She helped orchestrate them, ensuring that each party was more than just a night of revelry but an event that encapsulated the spirit of an era. From the grotto to the game room, her touches are evident, though seldom credited. Yet, there's a side to this story that remains shrouded in mystery. While the world saw the mansion as a pleasure palace, for Barbie, it was a complex network of relationships and power dynamics. Her time there was a balancing act of personal and public life, one that required a deep understanding of the intricacies of fame, fortune, and influence. Screen Siren Stories, Barbie Benton's Ventures Beyond the Velvet Rope. Barbie Benton's acting career is a patchwork of roles that offer a glimpse into her versatility as a performer. In 1970, she stepped onto the acting stage, not as Hugh Hefner's girlfriend, but as a fresh face on Hee Haw, where her comedic aptitude quickly became apparent. Barbie's ability to light up the room with her humor and charm marked the beginning of her journey as an actress, not just a model. Her transition to the screen included appearances on popular shows like The Love Boat in 1977 and Fantasy Island in 1981, where she showcased her adaptability and dramatic flair. Each character she portrayed was a deliberate step away from her Playboy image, a testament to her pursuit of diversity and challenging roles. In Hospital Massacre, 1982, Benton tackled a rare leading role, navigating the horror genre with a performance that highlighted her range beyond the expectations set by her modeling career. Despite her efforts, the roles offered to Barbie often reflected the industry's typecasting, an obstacle she met with resilience, selecting parts that allowed her to explore different facets of her talent. For instance, in the series Sugar Time, 1977-1978, her portrayal of a woman leading an all-female band in a male-dominated industry mirrored her own struggles within Hollywood. Throughout the 1970s and early 1980s, Barbie built a filmography that, while not headlining box office charts, was marked by her commitment to her craft. She didn't merely play roles, she sought to embody the characters with authenticity and passion, often contributing to the creative process behind the scenes. Barbie Benton's career in acting might not have eclipsed her Playboy fame, but it was filled with performances that spoke to her dedication as an actress. As we move forward in our exploration, we'll peel back the curtain on Barbie's personal life, her romances, and the heartaches that played out when the studio lights dimmed. Stay tuned as we delve into the real-life love stories of Barbie Benton, revealing the heart behind the public persona. Love Life Unscripted, the romances and heartbreaks off the camera. Barbie Benton's love life, while often a subject of public fascination due to her high-profile relationship with Hugh Hefner, encompasses more than the walls of the Playboy Mansion. Her romances have been as multifaceted as her career, marked by moments both tender and turbulent. Her long-standing relationship with Hefner began in 1969, when Benton was only 19 and he was 42. This relationship unfolded in the public eye, with Barbie often regarded as Hefner's most significant partner during the 1970s. However, less is known about her life after their breakup in 1976, a period when Barbie sought to forge her identity separate from the Playboy brand. In the years that followed, Barbie's heart would venture into new territories. She found love with real estate developer George Grado in 1979. Their relationship blossomed away from the cameras, and they married in 1979. This marked a shift for Benton, who had been a fixture in the limelight, as she began to embrace a more private existence, focusing on family and personal fulfillment. Their union was characterized by a strong bond and shared values, with the couple welcoming 2 children. Unlike her time with Hefner, her life with Grado was marked by a desire for normalcy and privacy, a stark contrast to the glitzy image many associated with her. Barbie's romantic life is a narrative of contrasts, from a public figure in a glamorous world to a woman seeking the quietude of a private life. Her journey through love reflects the complexities of a life lived in the spotlight and the pursuit of personal happiness beyond it. A fashion icon's blueprint, Barbie Benton's secret style influence. Barbie Benton's impact on fashion during the 1970s and 1980s was profound, yet her contributions have often been overshadowed by her association with Playboy. Benton wasn't just a model who wore the clothes given to her. She was an arbiter of style, influencing trends and inspiring designers. Her unique fashion sense was a blend of sophistication and sensuality, a hallmark of the era's glamorous aesthetic. During her heyday, Benton's appearances were not just photo ops. They were fashion statements that captured the zeitgeist of the times. Her penchant for bold prints, bell-bottoms, and the iconic bunny costume played a role in setting the fashion agenda. She embraced and often contributed to the design of her own ensembles, bringing an authenticity to her style that resonated with the public. Barbie's influence extended beyond the camera lens. She was a fixture in the front rows of fashion shows and a muse to designers who valued her feedback and vision. In a time when fashion was becoming more expressive and personal, Barbie Benton was at the forefront, pushing boundaries and setting trends. Her legacy in fashion is a narrative interwoven with her public persona, yet it stands on its own as a testament to her innate understanding of style and her ability to forecast trends. As we explore Benton's life further, her fashion legacy is a reminder that she was not just a face in a magazine, but a creator of style that has left a lasting impression. Beyond the glitz, philanthropy, and life after the limelight. After stepping back from the glare of Hollywood's spotlight, Barbie Benton channeled her energy into philanthropy, a chapter of her life that speaks volumes about her character. Behind the glamorous facade that the public was accustomed to lay a compassionate heart and a commitment to giving back. In the quiet of her post-fame life, Benton dedicated herself to numerous charitable causes, often away from the media's eye. She lent her support to organizations focused on children's health and education, recognizing the power of her platform to effect positive change. With her characteristic grace, she attended fundraisers, donated to worthy causes, and volunteered her time, all without fanfare. One of her notable contributions was to the music therapy program at the UCLA Mattel Children's Hospital. Understanding the healing power of music, Barbie helped fund programs that brought comfort and joy to sick children. Her involvement went beyond mere donations. She was hands-on, often seen participating in hospital events and even singing for the children, bringing smiles to their faces during difficult times. Barbie's philanthropic efforts also extended to environmental causes. Passionate about wildlife and conservation, she supported initiatives that protected endangered species and promoted sustainable living. Her home became a reflection of this passion, with an emphasis on eco-friendly design and living practices. The narrative of Barbie Benton's philanthropic work is a sharp contrast to the glittering life she once led. It reveals a depth of character and a desire to contribute to the world in a meaningful way. As we delve deeper into her life story, we uncover a woman whose beauty is matched by her generosity and whose influence extends far beyond what the public has seen. Private melodies, the personal life, Barbie shielded from the world. In the symphony of Barbie Benton's life, there are melodies that remained private, harmonies that echoed behind closed doors, away from the public's prying eyes. Despite her high-profile relationships and her image as a glamorous starlet, Benton fiercely protected her personal life, cherishing the quiet moments that fame couldn't infiltrate. Barbie's personal life has always been layered and complex, defined by more than her celebrity status. Her romance with real estate developer George Gradeau, whom she married in 1979, was a testament to her desire for a stable and nurturing home life. Their relationship was built on mutual respect and love, a sanctuary from the unpredictability of show business. Together, they raised 2 children, Alexander and Ariana, in a household where privacy was paramount, and the entertainment industry was just a backdrop. The Benton-Gradeau family life was idyllic in many ways, set against the beauty of their homes in Los Angeles and Aspen. Barbie created a world for her family that was rooted in normalcy and shielded from the tabloid culture. She was a hands-on mother, involved in every aspect of her children's upbringing, from school plays to equestrian events, ensuring they had a grounded and well-rounded childhood. Even as her children grew and the demands of motherhood evolved, Barbie maintained her protective stance, keeping her family life discreet and out of the limelight. Her commitment to her family's privacy was unwavering, a reflection of her values and her understanding of the importance of a life beyond the reach of fame. In a world where celebrities' personal lives are often on full display, Barbie Benton chose a different path. She crafted a personal narrative that was hers to hold, a melody of private moments that formed the true soundtrack of her life. Architect of Dreams, exploring Benton's hidden passion for design. Barbie Benton's artistic talents extend beyond the stage and screen, manifesting in a less public yet profoundly impactful realm, architectural and interior design. Benton's penchant for design is not widely known, yet her work in this field showcases the same creativity and attention to detail that she brought to her entertainment career. In the 1970s, Benton began expressing her vision through the design of her own homes. She worked closely with architects and designers, meticulously planning every inch of space, choosing materials, and overseeing construction. Her homes were not mere dwellings, but expressions of her aesthetic, an embodiment of her personal style and sensibility. One of Benton's most ambitious projects was the construction of her house in Aspen, Colorado. It was here that her skills flourished, culminating in a home that was both a retreat and a masterpiece. The residence, which she shared with her husband George Gradeau, reflected her love for rustic elegance and her affinity for natural materials. It became a harmonious blend of luxury and comfort, nestled in the picturesque landscape of the Rocky Mountains. Benton's approach to design was holistic. She believed that a home should be a sanctuary, a place that reflects the soul of its inhabitants. Her design philosophy centered around creating spaces that were not only visually stunning but also functional and inviting. Each room told a story, with carefully curated pieces, custom furniture, and art that spoke to her eclectic taste. Her design work has been recognized in several publications, highlighting her talent for transforming spaces into works of art. Benton's legacy in design is a testament to her multifaceted abilities and her relentless pursuit of beauty in all its forms. Barbie Benton may be best remembered for her time in front of the camera, but her work as a designer reveals another dimension to her character. As we continue to explore the layers of Benton's life, we witness a woman whose artistic vision knows no bounds and whose passion for design has left a lasting imprint on the world of architecture. The Wellness Advocate, Barbie's Secret Health and Wellness Journey. Barbie Benton's journey through the realms of health and wellness is a facet of her life that remained largely away from the headlines. Yet it is within this sphere that she has perhaps made some of her most impactful contributions. Benton's advocacy for wellness reflects her commitment to a holistic lifestyle, embodying the principles of mind-body harmony long before they became mainstream. Her exploration into wellness began as a personal mission, spurred by the health challenges faced by herself and those close to her. This quest led her to delve into the intricacies of nutrition, alternative medicine, and the healing arts. Benton's passion for wellness was not just about her own well-being, it was about sharing her knowledge and resources to help others lead healthier lives. Benton became a proponent of preventative health, emphasizing the importance of natural foods, regular exercise, and mental health awareness. She practiced what she preached, embodying a lifestyle that balanced physical activity with spiritual well-being. Her home in Aspen became a sanctuary where organic gardening and yoga were part of the daily routine. Her advocacy extended to her public life as well. Benton used her platform to raise awareness about health issues, particularly those affecting women. She supported health charities and campaigns, participated in wellness events, and spoke openly about her health philosophy, inspiring her fans to prioritize their well-being. Behind the scenes, Benton was instrumental in championing causes related to health education and access to natural health resources. She quietly contributed to wellness programs and supported initiatives that aimed to bring holistic health practices to a wider audience. The narrative of Barbi Benton as a wellness advocate is a compelling chapter in her life, showcasing a woman dedicated to nurturing the well-being of herself and others. Her holistic approach and dedication to wellness have been a constant thread throughout her life, influencing those around her and contributing to the wider dialogue on health. Legacy in the shadows: the influences and contributions overlooked by fame. Barbi Benton's legacy is one that resounds with quiet influence and subtle impact, much of which has been overshadowed by the more glamorous aspects of her fame. Her multifaceted career and personal interests have left an indelible mark not only on the entertainment industry but also on the many lives she has touched through her lesser-known endeavors. Throughout her time in the public eye, Benton has been a muse and a trendsetter, but her behind-the-scenes roles as a philanthropist, designer, and wellness advocate speak to a deeper contribution. Her influence extends into the realms of environmental conservation, health education, and the arts, areas where her input and support have often gone unrecognized. Her philanthropic efforts, particularly those directed towards environmental causes and children's health and education, reveal a compassionate spirit committed to making a tangible difference. Benton's advocacy for sustainable living and her hands-on approach to supporting various charities demonstrate her dedication to leaving a positive legacy beyond her celebrity status. Moreover, Benton's contributions to design and architecture show a visionary mind at work, one that has shaped physical spaces with the same creativity she once brought to the stage. Her unique aesthetic and passion for creating environments that nurture the soul have inspired many to view their living spaces as sanctuaries for wellness and expression. As a wellness advocate, Barbi has been ahead of her time, championing holistic health practices and mental well-being before they became part of the cultural lexicon. Her commitment to leading a balanced life and encouraging others to do the same has had a ripple effect, contributing to the growing awareness of the importance of health in all its dimensions. Barbi Benton's legacy is rich and varied, with many of her contributions remaining in the shadows yet profoundly influential. As we wrap up our exploration of her life, we are reminded that fame is but one part of a person's story. The true measure of impact is found in the quiet moments, the generous acts, and the creative endeavors that resonate with people's lives long after the spotlight fades.
She was the face of French New Wave, a symbol of elegance and intrigue. Jeanne Moreau captivated millions on screen, but off-screen, her life was a labyrinth of secrets. 7 years after her passing, her children have come forward with shocking truths. What were the rumors that haunted her, and which ones were true? Jeanne Moreau's mysterious persona. She was born on January 23, 1928 in Paris, France. Her father, Anatole Désiré Moreau, was a restaurateur, and her mother, Catherine Buckley, was an English dancer. Jeanne spent her childhood in Vichy, known for its spa waters. Returning to Paris as a teenager, she discovered her passion for acting. Moreau studied at the Conservatoire de Paris and joined the Comédie Française in 1947. By 1951, she left the prestigious theater company to explore film. Her breakthrough came in 1958 with the film Elevator to the Gallows, directed by Louis Malle. Her performance in Les Amants the same year solidified her status as a leading lady of French cinema. The 1960s marked a golden era for Moreau. She starred in François Truffaut's Jules et Jim, 1962, a classic of the French New Wave, which became a turning point in her career, making her an international star. Orson Welles admired her talent and cast her in The Trial, 1962, and Chimes at Midnight, 1965. Welles once said, "Jeanne Moreau is the greatest actress in the world." Her collaboration with Welles further boosted her career. In 1966, she won the Best Actress Award at the Cannes Film Festival for Moderato Cantabile, directed by Peter Brook. Moreau played a lonely wife in a French provincial town, delivering a deeply moving performance. She continued to work with renowned directors, starring in Luis Buñuel's Diary of a Chambermaid in 1964 and Michelangelo Antonioni's La Notte, 1961. Her versatility and intense screen presence made her a favorite among filmmakers. Despite her fame, Moreau kept her private life guarded, rarely discussing personal matters in interviews. This reticence fueled public curiosity, leading to media speculation about her relationships and personal struggles. Her career spanned over 60 years, during which she appeared in over 130 films. Her contributions to cinema were recognized with numerous awards. In 1998, she received an honorary Caesar for her lifetime achievements, and the Venice Film Festival awarded her the Golden Lion for Career Achievement in 1991. The scandalous love affairs. Her private life often sparked speculation due to her high-profile relationships. Her first marriage was to Jean-Louis Richard, a director and screenwriter, in 1949. They had a son, Jerome, but their marriage ended in divorce in 1951. Her affair with Louis Malle began in the late 1950s. They collaborated on several films, including Elevator to the Gallows, 1958, and Les Amants, 1958. Malle once said, "She is a woman who will always remain a mystery to me." During the 1960s, Moreau had a romantic relationship with fashion designer Pierre Cardin. Their relationship lasted several years, and they remained close friends after their breakup. In the mid-1960s, Moreau was involved with Tony Richardson, a British director known for Tom Jones, 1963. One of her most significant relationships was with François Truffaut. They worked together on Jules et Jim, 1962, and The Bride Wore Black, 1968. Truffaut once remarked, "Jeanne is more than an actress, she is a force of nature." She was also linked to several other notable figures, including singer Miles Davis and actor Lee Marvin. Throughout her life, she maintained an air of mystery about her relationships, rarely speaking about her lovers in public. Despite her numerous affairs, Moreau never remarried after her divorce from Jean-Louis Richard. She once said in an interview, "I have loved many men, but marriage is not for me. My true love is cinema." Jeanne Moreau's love affairs were as captivating as her performances on screen, contributing to her legend and painting a picture of a woman who lived passionately and without regret. The hidden relationships. Her life included many discreet relationships unknown to the public. One such relationship was with Jean-Pierre Léaud, the young actor from François Truffaut's The 400 Blows, 1959. Their bond was profound and intellectual, beginning in the early 1960s when they worked together on The Bride Wore Black, 1968. Another hidden relationship was with Sacha Distel, a popular French singer and jazz guitarist. They met in the late 1960s and began a discreet affair that lasted several years. Moreau and Distel shared a mutual love for music and performance, known only to close friends and confidants. In the early 1970s, she had a significant yet secretive relationship with director William Friedkin, known for The French Connection, 1971, and The Exorcist, 1973. Friedkin and Moreau met at a film festival and quickly became close. Their relationship was marked by deep mutual respect. Moreau also had a secret romance with actor and director Warren Beatty in the late 1960s. Beatty was captivated by her allure and sophistication. Their affair was brief but intense, filled with passionate discussions about film and art. The birth of her children. Jean Moreau's son, Jerome Richard, was born from her marriage to Jean-Louis Richard, which lasted from 1949 to 1951. Despite the divorce, she remained dedicated to her son, ensuring he was kept away from the public eye. Jerome's birth was initially a closely guarded secret. Moreau focused on her career and did not want her private life to overshadow her professional achievements. Jerome grew up away from the limelight, protected by his mother's insistence on privacy. Despite her fame, she ensured that Jerome had a relatively normal upbringing. She enrolled him in private schools and kept him away from film sets and parties. In an interview, Moreau once mentioned, "My son is the most important person in my life. Everything I do for him." While Jerome was the only child she publicly acknowledged, rumors persisted about other possible children. Some speculated that she had more children from her numerous relationships, but these were never confirmed. Moreau's ability to keep her private life under wraps only fueled these rumors. Moreau's protective nature extended to her son even in adulthood. Jerome pursued a career in academia, becoming a respected professor, far removed from the world of cinema. The relationship between Moreau and her son remained strong throughout her life. Her efforts to shield him from the media were successful, allowing him to live a life of relative anonymity. The dark rumors. Throughout her career, Jean Moreau was no stranger to rumors and scandals. One of the most enduring rumors concerned the paternity of her son, Jerome Richard. Despite her marriage to Jean-Louis Richard, speculation arose that Jerome's father might be someone else, including Louis Malle or Pierre Cardin. However, Jean always maintained that Jean-Louis Richard was Jerome's father, fiercely protecting her son's privacy. In the 1960s, rumors swirled about an alleged secret child born from Moreau's relationship with Pierre Cardin. Despite persistent gossip, neither she nor Cardin ever confirmed these claims. Friends, like actor Jean-Paul Belmondo, often dismissed these rumors. Another dark rumor involved Moreau's mental health. There were whispers that she suffered from severe depression and had multiple breakdowns during her career. In a rare candid interview, she addressed these speculations, saying, "I've had my share of dark moments like anyone else, but I channel them into my work." Moreau's relationships with younger men also sparked controversy. Her affair with Jean-Pierre Léaud, significantly younger, raised eyebrows. In the 1970s, rumors about her involvement with radical political groups surfaced. These claims were never substantiated but added to her mystique. The rumors and scandals surrounding Jean Moreau's life only enhanced her enigmatic image. Despite the speculations, she remained a fiercely private individual, rarely addressing the gossip directly. The only child speaks out. 7 years after Jean Moreau's death, her children, primarily her son, Jerome Richard, broke their silence, addressing persistent rumors and speculations that had surrounded their mother's life. Jerome, now a respected academic, gave a rare interview to a French magazine. He dispelled long-standing rumors about his paternity, stating, "My father is Jean-Louis Richard, as my mother always said." Jerome also addressed rumors of secret siblings, stating unequivocally, "I am my mother's only child. There are no hidden brothers or sisters." This clarification helped clear the air, bringing a sense of closure to the mystery that had surrounded her personal life. Jerome spoke about his mother's struggle with depression, a subject she had touched upon but never fully elaborated on. "Yes, my mother had her dark moments. She was a deeply emotional person and her work often took a toll on her. But she was resilient and always found a way to channel her emotions into her performances," Jerome explained. This admission shed light on the human side of Jean Moreau, portraying her not just as an enigmatic star but as a person who faced and overcame personal challenges. Jerome also reflected on the impact of his mother's fame on his own life. Growing up with Jean Moreau as a mother was both a privilege and a challenge. She was a loving mother, but her world was so different from that of a typical parent. I appreciated her efforts to keep me away from the spotlight. It allowed me to pursue my own path. Moreau's grandchildren also shared their perspectives, adding another layer to the narrative. They spoke about their grandmother with affection, describing her as kind, creative, and full of stories. One grandchild mentioned, "She would tell us tales from her films, but always with a lesson or a bit of wisdom. She was more than a movie star to us. She was our grandmother, full of love and guidance." For years, the public had speculated and created stories about her life. Her family's decision to speak out provided clarity and allowed fans to see the actress in a more personal light. It revealed the complexities of her character and the deep connections she had with her loved ones. The revelations from her children did not tarnish her image, but rather humanized her. They showed that behind the glamorous facade was a woman who, like anyone else, faced challenges and joys in her personal life. This candidness from her family offered a fitting tribute to Jean Moreau, honoring her memory while dispelling the myths that had long surrounded her. Confirming the scandals. As Jean Moreau's children spoke out, they not only clarified rumors but also confirmed some of the more scandalous stories that had followed her throughout her life. These revelations provided an unvarnished look at the actress's personal struggles and relationships, offering a deeper understanding of the woman behind the mystique. The children also confirmed the long-standing rumor of Moreau's affair with Louis Malle. While the relationship itself was well known, the extent of its impact on her was less understood. Jerome revealed, "Louis was one of my mother's great loves. Their connection went beyond a typical romance. It was deeply intellectual and artistic. Their breakup was hard on her, and it influenced many of her later works." This insight painted a picture of a woman who was deeply affected by her relationships, which in turn influenced her professional choices. Another scandal that was addressed involved Moreau's rumored affair with Orson Welles. Although their professional collaboration was celebrated, their personal relationship had always been shrouded in mystery. Jerome confirmed that the two had a romantic relationship during the filming of The Trial, 1962. Orson Welles admired my mother not just as an actress, but as a person. Their affair was intense and passionate, reflecting their larger-than-life personas. This confirmation added a new layer to the understanding of her personal life and the deep connections she formed with her co-stars. The children also confirmed the lesser-known affair with playwright Samuel Beckett. This relationship, which was kept very private, was characterized by a shared love for literature and theater. "Samuel Beckett was a significant figure in my mother's life," Jerome said. "Their relationship was not just romantic, but also profoundly intellectual. They inspired each other in many ways." This confirmation highlighted Moreau's intellectual depth and her attraction to minds as brilliant and complex as her own. One of the more painful confirmations was related to the strained relationship between Moreau and her son during certain periods of their lives. Jerome admitted, "There were times when my mother's work and her personal struggles created distance between us. It wasn't always easy being the child of such a prominent figure. However, we always found our way back to each other." This honesty about their relationship provided a realistic portrayal of the challenges faced by the family of a public figure. The children also dispelled the notion that Moreau had a secret child with Pierre Cardin. This clear denial helped to put to rest one of the more persistent rumors about her personal life. The family's perspective. The revelations about Jean Moreau's life and the confirmation of long-standing rumors inevitably had a profound impact on her children, especially her son, Jerome Richard. Growing up with a mother who was both a celebrated actress and an intensely private person presented unique challenges and shaped their lives in significant ways. Jerome Richard, in his rare interviews, shared insights into his childhood and the complexities of being the son of Jean Moreau. "My mother was a brilliant actress, but at home she was just my mom. She was loving and protective, always making sure I had a normal upbringing despite her fame." This duality of her life, balancing a high-profile career with a private family life, was a delicate act that influenced Jerome's development and worldview. The rumors about Moreau's mental health and personal relationships also affected Jerome deeply. He spoke about the emotional toll of seeing his mother struggle with depression. "Her lows were very hard to witness. As a child, I didn't fully understand it, but I knew she was going through something painful. It made me grow up faster and develop a strong sense of empathy." This experience shaped Jerome's sensitivity and his approach to life, fostering a deep understanding of the complexities of human emotions. Jerome also discussed the impact of the persistent rumors about other potential siblings and secret children. "The speculation was always there, adding a layer of confusion and curiosity to my life. It was only after my mother passed away and I addressed these rumors publicly that I felt a sense of closure." By speaking out, Jerome not only cleared the air but also found a way to reconcile his personal narrative with the public's perception of his mother. Despite the challenges, Jerome acknowledged the privileges that came with being Jean Moreau's son. "I had access to incredible artistic environments and met some of the most brilliant minds in the industry. It was an education in itself. His upbringing in such a culturally rich environment undoubtedly influenced his own career choices and intellectual pursuits. Jerome pursued a path in academia, becoming a respected professor, which allowed him to carve out his own identity separate from his mother's shadow. Her grandchildren also felt the impact of her legacy. Growing up, they were aware of their grandmother's iconic status, but experienced her primarily as a family member. "She was Grandma Jeanne to us," one grandchild shared. "She would tell us stories, play games, and encourage our creativity. It was only later that we fully grasped the extent of her influence in the film industry." The family's decision to break their silence and address the rumors brought them a sense of liberation. By confirming some stories and dispelling others, they reclaimed their narrative and honored Jean Moreau's memory on their own terms. Jerome reflected, "My mother lived a life full of passion and complexity. By sharing our side of the story, we hope people understand her as more than just an actress, but as a multifaceted human being." The revelations from Moreau's children provided a richer, more nuanced understanding of her life. They showed that behind the glamorous facade was a family navigating the challenges and joys of life with an iconic figure. Unseen letters and diaries. The discovery of Jean Moreau's personal letters and diaries added a new dimension to the understanding of her complex life. These documents, found after her death, provided intimate insights into her thoughts, emotions, and relationships, offering a candid glimpse into the mind of one of cinema's most enigmatic figures. The letters and diaries were discovered by Jerome Richard while sorting through his mother's belongings. He decided to share some of their contents with the public, believing that they would help paint a fuller picture of Jean Moreau. "These writings are a testament to my mother's inner world. They reveal her struggles, her passions, and her reflections on life and art," Jerome explained. One of the most revealing aspects of these writings was Moreau's reflections on her relationships. In a letter to Louis Malle, she wrote, "Louis, you have been both my muse and my torment. Our love was a storm, beautiful and destructive. I cherish our moments together, but they also haunt me." This candid admission highlighted the intensity of her relationship with Mala and the profound impact it had on her. She described Wells as a force of nature, larger than life and yet so fragile inside. She wrote about their intellectual bond and the passionate debates they had about cinema and art. "Orson challenges me in ways no one else does. He sees through my facade, and that is both terrifying and exhilarating." The writings also provided a deeper understanding of Moreau's battle with depression. She often used her diaries to express her darkest thoughts and feelings. In one entry, she wrote, "The darkness is always there, lurking at the edges. Some days it feels like I am drowning. But then I step onto the stage or in front of the camera, and for a moment I am free." Moreau's letters to her son, Jerome, were particularly poignant. They revealed a tender, protective side of her that contrasted with her public persona. In one letter, she wrote, "My dearest Jerome, you are my anchor in this chaotic world. I want to shield you from the storms that I face. Know that my love for you is unwavering, even when I am not there." These letters highlighted her deep love for her son and her efforts to protect him from the tumultuous aspects of her life. The diaries also contained reflections on her career and the roles she chose. Moreau often wrote about the characters she played and how they resonated with her own life. "Catherine in Juliet Jim is a reflection of my own restless spirit. She embodies the freedom and the torment that I feel." These writings provided valuable insights into her approach to acting and the personal connections she found in her roles. The letters and diaries also touched upon the rumors that had surrounded her life. Moreau addressed these speculations with a mix of frustration and resignation. "The world will always create stories about me, true or false. I have learned to live with it, to find my peace in my own truth," she wrote in one diary entry. This acceptance of her public image showed her resilience in the face of constant scrutiny. The publication of these personal writings allowed fans and historians to gain a deeper understanding of Jean Moreau. They revealed a woman of great depth and complexity, whose personal struggles and passions were intricately tied to her art. Jean Moreau passed away on July 31, 2017 in Paris, at 89 years old. Her death marked the end of an era in French cinema. However, her enigmatic persona and extraordinary talent continue to captivate audiences worldwide.
While millions of people were engrossed in the incredible movies and shows produced by the industry, both in their homes and cinemas, they remained oblivious to the darkness lurking within. Beyond the glamour and talent that Hollywood exuded, there was an underworld that was very different from what was being shown in the media. From rumors of murders to the mistreatment of actors and numerous atrocities that remained buried and far away from the public eyes, Hollywood was proved to be a dark and chaotic place. Well, let's just say nothing is hidden under the sun, because some of these dark and disgusting things that happened in the industry have now been confirmed to be true. The horrific fake film shoot. Anyone who knew about the film studio MGM knew that they were notorious for their dark deeds and would do almost anything to make a scandal disappear, and in order to protect their own. They had the money, the power, and the fixers, but when a biographer, David Sten, began to investigate them, he uncovered some secrets that they kept buried for years. One of these was what happened to a 20-year-old dancer named Patricia Douglas at a 1937 MGM party. According to David Sten, MGM did everything in their power to suppress the scandal when it erupted. They even went as far as hiding evidence and doing all they could to silence the victim, but it seems like her innocence screamed louder than their efforts, and soon enough their deeds were brought to the light. Although MGM was successful at burying the story back in the 1930s, David Sten found some evidence that proved that Patricia's story was real. She wasn't the young wannabe star trying to take down a powerful studio. She was a young, vulnerable girl whose innocence was taken away at an MGM party. In the words of the biographer, I managed to find old newspaper coverage, previously unseen photos, damning studio documentation, long-forgotten legal records, privately shot cinematographic evidence hidden in an MGM film vault, and, most amazing, Patricia Douglas herself. After 65 years of silence, she was finally able to tell her side of the story. According to Patricia Douglas, that incident completely broke her and turned her life upside down. Before that day, she was living a normal life and was already a part of the entertainment industry. Her love for dancing opened her up to opportunities, and at the age of 15, she had already appeared in 2 classics. Her mother was doing well financially, so she didn't need to work. She only took on a few jobs because she enjoyed it and wanted to keep herself busy. This chestnut-haired lady with porcelain skin would later get a casting call on the 2nd of May, 1937 that changed her life. She had no idea that this call was not what she thought it was, and although she hesitated for a while, she finally said yes. Looking back on that day, Patricia regrets saying yes to that call. In her words, "They never mentioned it was for a party, ever. I wouldn't have gone. Oh God, I wouldn't have gone." Although she and hundreds of other girls were invited for this so-called shoot, they would soon discover that this was no film shoot. It was a party that Louis B. Mayer had, organized to celebrate his salesman for a job well done, but this was no ordinary party. It was going to an alcohol-fueled party where all manner of atrocities would happen. The studio had become the greatest studio in Hollywood, and they bagged distribution deals that will keep them on top for several years. This party is their way of celebrating. Patricia Douglas was one out of the 120 young female dancers that received the casting call. It will surprise you to know that a well-known casting director made these calls so the girls had no idea what was about to happen. They were supposed to be dressed in fitted cowgirl outfits, and as soon as they got to the studio, they were transported to an unknown location for this party. On getting there, Patricia saw over 300 men partying, smoking, and taking all kinds of substances. She didn't see cameras, a crew, or lights. Patricia immediately started to feel uncomfortable, as she had never had any sexual encounter before. She certainly didn't want to be in such a wild party. Sadly, there was no way any of the girls could escape. As the party went on, a particular salesman called David Rose began to admire Patricia. He pretended to want to teach her a dance step, and before she knew it, he and other friends held her down and poured liquor down her throat. Soon enough, Patricia began to feel sick, and when she went outside to get some air, David Ross dragged her to the parking lot and took advantage of her in one of the cars. Interestingly, a parking attendant witnessed the whole thing, but he later denied. Patricia did not keep quiet about what happened. She told her mother about it, and they were able to hire an attorney, but every legal step she took proved futile. No one believed her. One can only imagine how many other girls went through a similar experience that night. Patricia, the only person who was bold enough to speak up, was shut down and called a liar by MGM. With their connections, money, and power, they were able to shut the case down. Among the evidence that was later found was a letter from publisher William Randolph Hearst to Louis B. Mayer saying, "Shut this down. Make her stop." Do you realize how damaging this is to the whole movie picture industry? With the help of biographer David Sten, she was able to document what happened to her in the documentary titled Girl 27 before she passed on. The director with weird sexual preferences. After several decades of whining, dining, and having wild sexual encounters with celebrities, Scotty Bowers published a book titled Full Service: My Adventures in Hollywood and the Secret Sex Lives of the Stars. Bowers, who was said to have been a go-to guy for setting up all manner of trysts for some of Hollywood's most famous stars, decided to pen down all the escapes that these stars were involved in. While some of his celebrity clients were closeted gays and lesbian, other clients liked things that were weird and freaky. The revelations she made about Charles Laughton left everyone in shock. To the rest of the world, Charles Laughton was a brilliant director. He was a highly respected and influential figure in the film industry. Charles Laughton was an English stage and film actor as well as a director. Truth be told, his talent was recognized early in his career, and he gained fame for his versatility as an actor. He excelled in portraying a wide range of characters, from dramatic to comedic roles. Most people who were entertained by his works revered him. Some of his most notable performances include his portrayal of the hunchbacked bell ringer Quasimodo in The Hunchback of Notre Dame in 1939, Captain Bligh in Mutiny on the Bounty in 1935, and his chilling role as the tyrannical barrister in Witness for the Prosecution in 1957. Everyone saw him as a talented man who was laser-focused on his career, but no one knew the secrets he was keeping from the world. In addition to his acting prowess, Laughton also ventured into directing, where he demonstrated a keen eye for storytelling and visual composition. His directorial debut was with the film The Night of the Hunter in 1955, which has since been recognized as a classic of American cinema despite its initial commercial failure. Laughton's impact on the film industry was profound, and he was highly respected by his peers. Throughout his career, he received numerous accolades, including an Academy Award for Best Actor for his role in The Private Life of Henry VIII in 1933. Apparently, when he was achieving all these, he was busy behind closed doors doing things that would have shocked his fans. According to Bowers, Charles's secret sexual activities were very different from that of his celebrity friends. He said Charles was into scat proclivities. Bowers revealed that Charles liked it when his sexual partners released on him, and on some occasions, he spread these substances on a sandwich and ate it. Bowers didn't judge this act, as he was an open-minded person who believed that people should do whatever they wanted, and in his words, "The practice certainly didn't turn me on, but it was patently clear that it was regarded as a normal and acceptable part of sexual activity by its devotees, with Charles Laughton being one of them and Ty Power another. So who was I to judge? To each his own." Who would have thought that this talented man was involved in such sexual acts behind closed doors? Although there were already rumors about what he was involved in, Bowers' book confirmed the rumors and went into detail about what this celebrated director was doing behind closed doors. Charlie Chaplin and underage girls. He was a highly successful actor who was well respected in the industry. He was known to have inspired many other actors, but when rumors began to circulate about his preference in women, a lot of people lost respect for him. They simply couldn't believe it. Charlie Chaplin, a towering figure in the world of comedy, mesmerized audiences with his timeless humor and poignant performances on the silver screen. Yet, behind the laughter, his personal life was shrouded in controversy, particularly concerning his romantic entanglements. Soon enough, his secret preferences when it came to women became a subject of both fascination and scrutiny. Truth be told, Chaplin's predilection for marrying significantly younger women was evident throughout his life. His first marriage to 16-year-old Mildred Harris at the age of 29 set a pattern that would repeat itself. Despite the considerable age gap, Chaplin seemed drawn to youthful exuberance and innocence. However, his marriages were not devoid of tumult. Harris and Chaplin's union dissolved after 2 years. It would surprise you to know that he went on to date and marry yet another girl that was younger than him. The pattern persisted with Chaplin's subsequent marriages. At 35, he wed 16-year-old Lita Gray, embarking on a controversial journey that raised eyebrows even in the permissive circles of Hollywood. Their marriage was mired in scandal, with Gray alleging that she was coerced into matrimony due to her pregnancy with Chaplin's child. The marriage ultimately ended in a highly publicized divorce, amplifying the whispers surrounding Chaplin's romantic exploits. People found it difficult to reconcile the man he was in Hollywood to the man that was getting married to underage girls. In 1932, Chaplin found himself entangled with 22-year-old Paulette Goddard, who later revealed that she had initially misrepresented her age, claiming to be 17 when they first met. Despite the revelation, Chaplin pursued the relationship, culminating in marriage when Goddard was 26 and he was 47. Their union endured for 6 years, characterized by both moments of bliss and strain, emblematic of Chaplin's tumultuous romantic life. However, it was Chaplin's fourth and final marriage that garnered the most attention and controversy. At the age of 54, he wed 18-year-old Una O'Neill, the daughter of esteemed playwright Eugene O'Neill. This union, though met with incredulity and raised eyebrows, endured the test of time, remaining intact until Chaplin's passing. O'Neill's youthfulness and Chaplin's status as a renowned artist of his era magnified the intrigue surrounding their relationship. Chaplin's preference for younger women, coupled with the circumstances of his marriages, fueled speculation and gossip within the industry, while some viewed his actions as indicative of a romantic spirit unbound by societal norms. Others condemned his behavior as exploitative and predatory. The allegations against Chaplin ranged from accusations of manipulation to outright abuse, with his choices seemingly confirming the suspicions harbored by his detractors. There were even rumors that he fled to a different country at a certain point in time in order to avoid certain statutory laws. It seemed like he couldn't help himself, but most people who heard about it were disappointed. They couldn't believe that such a respected man was involved in such. However, despite the condemnation he got from others, he didn't hide the fact that he preferred underage girls. She adopted her own child. Before he became a Hollywood star, it was said that Clark Gable was friends with some questionable people. Perhaps this was why he reached out to a fixer when he discovered that he got a young actress pregnant. What was done after that forever traumatized the child and made her grow up believing that she didn't have parents. If anyone was the epitome of Hollywood masculinity, it was Clark Gable. This charming, leading man made hearts swoon across the globe. He was the kind of guy you'd imagine tipping his hat as he sauntered into a room exuding confidence. And in 1934, he was smack dab in the middle of one heck of a scandal that involved a young actress named Loretta Young. She was a rising starlet with doe eyes and a smile that could light up the silver screen. At just 22, she was already making waves in Hollywood, capturing hearts with her talent and beauty. But little did anyone know she was about to become entangled in a scandalous affair with none other than the dashing Clark Gable. A 34-year-old Gable, already married, diving headfirst into a clandestine romance with the much younger Loretta Young. Their flirtation soon turned into a scandalous affair, and to complicate matters further, Young became pregnant. It was the kind of situation that could spell disaster for both their careers and reputations. Some reports claim that Gable actually forced himself on the actress and that the sexual activities between them were not consensual. When Clark Gable realized how messy the situation was, he reached out to the one person that could fix it, Eddie Mannix, a fixer with connections deep in the heart of Hollywood. He wasn't just any friend to Gable, he was the kind of friend who knew how to clean up messes no matter how messy they were. Mannix's solution was as ingenious as it was morally dubious. He orchestrated a plan for Young to fake adopt her own child, effectively concealing the scandal of being an unwed mother. It was a move straight out of the Hollywood playbook. Young, determined to protect her child from judgment, went along with Mannix's plan, confiding only in the inner circles of Hollywood's elite. And so Judy, as she would later be named, grew up believing that Loretta Young adopted her. But as Judy grew older, the truth became harder to conceal. It was difficult to ignore the resemblance between Judy and Clark Gable. Soon enough, rumors began to spread, and people started asking questions. Years passed, but secrets have a way of coming to light. On Judy's wedding day, she confronted her mother, demanding to know the truth, and in a moment filled with emotions and regret, Young finally revealed the truth to her daughter. Judy herself later confirmed the truth in her autobiography, Uncommon Knowledge, laying bare the secrets that had been buried for so long. In the end, Eddie Mannix's solution may have spared his friend Clark Gable from immediate scandal, but it couldn't shield him from the consequences of his actions forever. This decision certainly did not spare Judy from the trauma of growing up without parents. Why Mary Nolan had 15 abdominal surgeries. If you have ever heard about Hollywood fixers, then the name Eddie Mannix certainly rings a bell. He was the one who was responsible for making most of MGM Studios' scandals disappear. Whenever something occurred and it could damage the image of the studio, he would go behind the scenes and clean up the mess before the public got to know about it. However, in July 1935, he was not doing someone else's dirty laundry. The scandal was right at his doorstep. His former lover had publicly accused him of maltreating her and ruining her life. He denied all the allegations, but when her friends and family began to speak up about what he did to her, things got a little complicated and he had to find a solution and find it fast. Mary Nolan, Mannix's ex-lover, was a well-known actress in the 1920s. Truth be told, life and career were marked by both successes and personal struggles. Nolan began her career as a Ziegfeld Follies showgirl before transitioning to silent films. She quickly gained attention for her striking beauty and talent on screen. Mary Nolan, initially performing under the name Imogen Robertson in Germany, began her film career there with Verborgene Gluten in 1925, followed by Die Feuertanzerin, which garnered her favorable reviews and a contract offer from Universum Film AG. She worked steadily in Germany until 1927, declining offers from Hollywood producers until Joseph M. Schenck of United Artists convinced her to return to the United States. Upon her return, Nolan faced scrutiny from the press and women's groups due to her past scandal, prompting United Artists to suggest a name change to Mary Nolan. She made 2 films with United Artists before joining Universal Pictures in August 1927, where she received good reviews for her role in Good Morning Judge. In the same year, she was said to have been involved in a relationship with Eddie Mannix, who allegedly used his connections to help boost her career. Mannix was married at the time, so they kept their affair a secret for as long as they could. Nolan's career received a significant boost when she was loaned to Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer for West of Zanzibar in 1928, starring alongside Lon Chaney and Lionel Barrymore. The film was a hit, as was her subsequent loan to MGM for Desert Nights in 1929, opposite John Gilbert, further solidifying her status in Hollywood. However, Mannix and Nolan's affair ended abruptly in 1929. While no one knows for sure why the affair ended, it was said that the actress became an emotional wreck in the following years. Her career began to decline rapidly, and she was said to have displayed erratic behavior on sets. After a long battle with substance abuse and financial problems, her life was in shambles. It was clear that there was a lot of pain buried deep within her, but no one knew what was causing it. It was in 1935 that Mary Nolan decided to open up about what she went through in the hands of Eddie Mannix. Initially, it seemed like a publicity stunt by a desperate actress, but as time went on, people began to see that her claims were not far-fetched from what others had accused Mannix of. According to her, she lived with him in the Ambassador Hotel from the year 1927 to 1931, and they were actively in an affair at the time. As time went on, he began to treat her badly and would even go as far as hitting her and inflicting wounds on her body. She also claimed that he was responsible for the decline of her career and that he allegedly used his influence to ruin her career at a certain point. However, the most shocking part of her story was on the day he attacked her and hit her abdominal area so badly that she had to be hospitalized. The damages he caused were so severe that she had to undergo over 15 surgeries in order to survive. After she sued him, he denied all she had said and claimed that she was using the story to gain fame and sympathy from the public. But despite his claims, Mary Nolan had a solid army of witnesses behind her. Her friends and family revealed he maltreated her during the time that they were together. He also allegedly forced her to terminate multiple pregnancies, and there were times when she had to go on set with bruises because of how badly he hit her. As expected, Mannix did everything in his power to bury the story. It was said that he sent a private detective to her house to threaten her, and this was what made her drop the lawsuit. While there was no concrete evidence, anyone who heard about Mannix's heinous crimes knew that there was at least an atom in Mary's story. In the end, Mannix won and was able to bury a story that could have potentially ruined his image and career.
Diane Keaton's love life has always been shrouded in mystery and speculation. From her on-screen chemistry with legendary co-stars to secret romances that defied Hollywood norms, her story is one of passion, intrigue, and controversy. The beginning of an iconic career. Diane Hall Keaton was born on January 5, 1946, in Los Angeles, California. Growing up in an artistic family, her mother, Dorothy Deanne Keaton, won the Mrs. Los Angeles pageant, and her father, John Newton Ignatius Hall, was a real estate broker and civil engineer. Her journey into the limelight began with her education at Santa Ana High School, Santa Ana College, and the Neighborhood Playhouse in New York City. During this period, she changed her last name to Keaton, her mother's maiden name, to avoid confusion with another actress named Diane Hall. Her big break came with the 1968 Broadway musical Hair, where she caught the eye of director Woody Allen. This led to her starring in Allen's Broadway play Play It Again, Sam in 1969, earning a Tony Award nomination. This collaboration marked the beginning of a significant professional and personal relationship. In 1972, Keaton was cast as Kay Adams in Francis Ford Coppola's The Godfather. The film's immense success catapulted her to fame, grossing over $134 million domestically. She reprised her role in the sequels, further solidifying her place in Hollywood. Her portrayal of the quirky and endearing Annie Hall in Woody Allen's 1977 film of the same name brought her widespread acclaim. It was a critical and commercial success, earning over $38 million at the box office and winning the Academy Award for Best Actress. The film also won 4 Oscars, including Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Original Screenplay for Allen. Keaton's unique fashion style in Annie Hall, characterized by androgynous clothing and menswear-inspired outfits, sparked a fashion trend that resonated with audiences, making her an unexpected fashion icon. As her career progressed, Keaton continued to choose diverse roles, demonstrating her versatility. From dramatic performances in Reds, 1981, to comedic roles in Baby Boom, 1987, her ability to navigate different genres showcased her talent and range. Through the 1970s and 1980s, she became known for more than just her acting. Her relationships with high-profile co-stars and directors fueled media fascination, laying the groundwork for the rumors and speculations about her personal life that would follow her throughout her career. The Woody Allen romance. Her relationship with Woody Allen began on a professional level but quickly evolved into a deep personal connection. Their first encounter took place during the Broadway production of Play It Again, Sam in 1969. A pivotal moment that marked the start of a long and fruitful collaboration. Allen, celebrated for his unique comedic style and neurotic on-screen persona, found an ideal match in Keaton, whose quirky charm and natural acting talent complemented his vision perfectly. Their professional chemistry was first showcased in the 1972 film Play It Again, Sam, directed by Herbert Ross but penned by Allen. In the film, she played Linda Christie, a role that was well received by audiences and critics alike, further cementing her presence in the film industry. This project set the stage for what would become one of Hollywood's most iconic partnerships. The collaboration between Keaton and Allen reached its pinnacle with the 1977 film Annie Hall. This film was not only a critical and commercial success, but also a groundbreaking work that redefined romantic comedies. Despite their romantic involvement ending in the early 1970s, Keaton and Allen maintained a strong professional bond. They continued to work together on numerous projects throughout the following decades, including notable films such as Manhattan, 1979, and Radio Days, 1987. In interviews, Keaton has often expressed her gratitude for Allen's influence on her career. She has described him as both a mentor and a partner, someone who saw potential in her that she didn't see in herself. This sentiment was evident in a 2013 interview with The Guardian, where she stated, "Woody gave me my career." Despite the controversies surrounding Allen in later years, she remained professionally loyal to him, attributing much of her success to their early work together. Their collaboration extended well into the 1980s and 1990s, with Keaton starring in Allen's films such as Interiors, 1978, and Manhattan Murder Mystery, 1993. Keaton's relationship with Allen was characterized by deep mutual respect and admiration. In a 1977 interview with Newsweek, she spoke candidly about their relationship, saying, "Woody gave me the role of a lifetime. He saw something in me that I didn't see in myself." A complicated affair with Warren Beatty. Her relationship with Warren Beatty added another layer of intrigue to her life. They met in the late 1970s while working on the 1981 film Reds. Beatty, who starred in and directed the film, and Keaton, who played the lead female role, shared undeniable on-set chemistry. Their relationship, however, was marked by intensity and passion. Beatty, already a well-known Hollywood heartthrob by the time he met her, was known for his charisma and charm. His reputation as a ladies' man preceded him, and his numerous high-profile relationships had long been the subject of public fascination. The on-set chemistry between Beatty and Keaton was palpable, and it quickly translated into a real-life romance. Their relationship was characterized by deep intellectual conversations and shared creative pursuits. She once remarked in a 2016 interview with Vanity Fair, "Warren was mesmerizing. He had this incredible presence and energy." Despite their strong connection, their relationship was not without its challenges. Beatty's reputation and Keaton's fiercely independent nature often led to clashes. Beatty was known for his meticulous and sometimes controlling approach to filmmaking, while she valued her independence and had a clear vision of her own career path. These differences sometimes caused friction between them, but they also contributed to the passionate and dynamic nature of their relationship. The media closely followed their romance, capturing their public appearances and speculating about their private lives. Paparazzi often photographed the couple at high-profile events, fueling public interest and adding to the pressure on their relationship. Despite the constant media scrutiny, Beatty and Keaton managed to maintain a semblance of privacy, often deflecting questions about their relationship in interviews. Their time together was marked by both professional and personal collaboration. Beyond Reds, they explored other potential projects, although none materialized to the same extent. Their relationship lasted for a few years before eventually fizzling out. The breakup, while amicable, was a result of their differing life goals and the pressures of their respective careers. In her memoir, Then Again, she wrote, "Warren was a significant part of my life. He was brilliant, charismatic, and always full of ideas. But we were on different paths. Our relationship was passionate, but we both knew it wasn't meant to last." Al Pacino, a love that transcended films. Her relationship with Al Pacino began on the set of The Godfather, where they played Kay Adams and Michael Corleone. The film, directed by Francis Ford Coppola, became a cultural phenomenon, grossing over $134 million in the United States alone. The chemistry between Keaton and Pacino was palpable both on and off the screen. Their romance blossomed during the filming of The Godfather Part II in 1974. Keaton's portrayal of Kay, the wife who becomes increasingly disillusioned with her husband's criminal empire, mirrored some of the complexities of their real-life relationship. In a 2017 interview with People magazine, she recalled, "Al was unlike anyone I had ever known. Intense, dedicated, and incredibly talented. There was an undeniable connection between us." Despite their deep bond, the relationship faced numerous challenges. Pacino, known for his method acting and intense dedication to his craft, often found it difficult to balance his professional and personal life. Keaton, on the other hand, was equally committed to her career but longed for stability and companionship. This dichotomy led to several breakups and reconciliations over the years. Their relationship was marked by both passionate highs and tumultuous lows. In a 2004 interview with The New Yorker, Pacino described her as a significant person in my life. She was my muse, my confidant, and someone who always brought out the best in me. Their mutual respect and admiration for each other were evident, even during their most challenging times. The couple reunited for The Godfather Part 3 in 1990, reprising their iconic roles. The film, though not as critically acclaimed as its predecessors, still showcased their undeniable chemistry. Keaton's performance as Kay, now estranged from Michael but still deeply affected by him, resonated with audiences and critics alike. Throughout the 1980s and 1990s, Keaton and Pacino continued to navigate their on-again, off-again relationship. Their bond was further complicated by Pacino's reluctance to settle down and have children, a topic that she addressed candidly in her 2011 memoir, Then Again. She wrote, "I wanted a family, a sense of permanence. Al was always the love of my life, but he wasn't ready for that kind of commitment." Despite their eventual breakup, Keaton and Pacino remained close friends and continued to speak highly of each other in public. In a 2014 interview with The Guardian, she said, "Al will always be a part of me. Our relationship was intense and complicated, but it was also filled with love and respect." The brief affair with Sam Shepard. Her brief but intense relationship with playwright and actor Sam Shepard is another intriguing chapter in her romantic history. The two met in the early 1980s, a period marked by significant professional achievements for both. Sam Shepard, known for his brooding charisma and literary prowess, was already an acclaimed playwright by the time he met Keaton. His works, such as Buried Child and True West, had cemented his reputation in the theater world. Keaton, fresh from the success of films like Reds and Annie Hall, was at the peak of her career. Their meeting was a collision of two creative forces. Their affair was relatively short-lived, but left a lasting impression on both. In a 1983 interview with Rolling Stone, Keaton spoke about Shepard with admiration. "Sam is one of the most unique individuals I've ever met. He has this raw, untamed energy that is incredibly captivating," she said. Their relationship was marked by deep intellectual conversations and a shared passion for the arts. The couple worked together on the 1984 film Mrs. Soffel, directed by Gillian Armstrong. She played the title role while Shepard portrayed Ed Biddle, a convict involved in a daring prison escape. Their on-screen chemistry was palpable, reflecting the intensity of their off-screen relationship. Despite the film's mixed reviews, their performances were widely praised, showcasing their ability to bring out the best in each other. In her 2011 memoir, Then Again, Keaton reflected on her time with Shepard. "Sam was a whirlwind of creativity and emotion. Our time together was brief, but it was filled with passion and intellectual stimulation," she wrote. This period was a significant part of her life, shaping her views on relationships and artistic collaboration. The controversy with Steve Jobs. Diane's rumored relationship with Steve Jobs, the visionary co-founder of Apple Inc., is one of the more unusual and controversial chapters in her romantic history. The speculation about their connection began in the late 1980s and early 1990s, a period when Jobs was reshaping the tech world and Keaton was a firmly established Hollywood star. The rumors first surfaced in the tech and entertainment circles, sparked by sightings of the two at various events and private gatherings. The nature of their relationship remained ambiguous, leading to widespread speculation. In a 1990 article in Vanity Fair, an anonymous source close to both Keaton and Jobs claimed there was a definite spark between them. They shared a mutual respect and fascination for each other's work. They were seen together at several high-profile events, including a 1988 benefit gala in San Francisco. Their public appearances fueled media speculation, with tabloids and magazines keen to uncover the truth about their relationship. Despite the attention, both maintained a tight-lipped stance, neither confirming nor denying the rumors. In a 2011 interview with the New York Times, Keaton addressed the speculation with her characteristic wit. "I've always admired Steve's genius, but beyond that, I prefer to keep my personal life personal," she said, neither confirming nor dispelling the rumors. The media frenzy surrounding their rumored relationship highlighted the intersection of Hollywood glamour and Silicon Valley innovation. It was a coupling that intrigued the public due to the stark contrasts in their personalities and professional worlds. Keaton, with her quirky independent spirit, and Jobs, with his intense, often abrasive drive for perfection, seemed an unlikely but fascinating pairing. Despite the persistent rumors, there was no concrete evidence to confirm a romantic relationship between Keaton and Jobs. Their interactions, while undoubtedly significant, remained shrouded in mystery. This ambiguity only added to the intrigue, making it one of the most talked about and least understood aspects of her romantic life. In a 2005 interview with Vanity Fair, an unnamed friend commented on the relationship. "Diane and Steve had a unique connection. Whether it was romantic or purely intellectual, only they know. But there was definitely something special between them," the friend said. The Nicholson enigma. Her rumored involvement with Jack Nicholson is one of Hollywood's most enduring and enigmatic stories. The two first met on the set of the 1981 film Reds, directed by Warren Beatty, where Nicholson played the role of Eugene O'Neill. Although they were never officially a couple, their undeniable chemistry and close friendship led to years of speculation about the true nature of their relationship. Nicholson and Keaton shared a unique bond, marked by mutual respect and a deep understanding of each other's eccentricities. In a 2013 interview with The Guardian, she described Nicholson as one of the most charming and enigmatic people I've ever known. Their camaraderie was evident both on and off the screen, fueling rumors that there might be more than just friendship between them. Their professional collaboration took a significant turn with the 2003 romantic comedy Something's Gotta Give, directed by Nancy Meyers. They starred as Erica Berry and Harry Sanborn in a film that explored the complexities of love and relationships in later life. The movie was a commercial success, grossing over $266 million worldwide, and Keaton's performance earned her a Golden Globe Award and an Academy Award nomination. On the set of Something's Gotta Give, the chemistry between Keaton and Nicholson was palpable. Their on-screen romance, filled with humor and genuine affection, led to widespread speculation about their off-screen relationship. In a 2004 interview with Oprah Winfrey, Keaton addressed these rumors, stating, "Jack and I have always had a special connection. He's a dear friend, and our time together on set was magical. But it's just that friendship." Nicholson, known for his charismatic and often unpredictable personality, also spoke highly of Keaton. In a 2003 interview with the New York Times, he said, "Diane is a remarkable woman, both on and off the screen. Working with her was a joy, and our friendship is something I truly cherish." His admiration for Keaton was clear, adding fuel to the ongoing speculation. Their close friendship continued beyond the film's production, with the two often seen together at industry events and social gatherings. Paparazzi captured numerous photos of them sharing laughs and intimate moments, further igniting rumors. Despite this, both Keaton and Nicholson maintained that their relationship was purely platonic. Warren Beatty, who had worked closely with both actors, commented in a 2004 Vanity Fair article, "Jack and Diane have a unique connection that's hard to define. They're kindred spirits, and that kind of bond is rare in this industry." This sentiment was echoed by other friends, who noted the deep understanding and mutual respect between Keaton and Nicholson. The persistent rumors about a controversial secret lover. Throughout her career, Diane Keaton has been known for her enigmatic persona, and nowhere is this more evident than in her references to a significant yet unnamed romantic partner. This mystery man has been a subject of speculation among fans and the media, adding an aura of intrigue to Keaton's already fascinating life. Keaton first hinted at this secret relationship in various interviews during the late 1980s and early 1990s. While she has often been candid about her high-profile romances with Woody Allen, Warren Beatty, and Al Pacino, this particular relationship remains shrouded in secrecy. In a 1995 interview with Vanity Fair, she mentioned, "There was someone very special in my life, someone who had a profound impact on me, but it's a part of my life I choose to keep private." The secrecy surrounding this relationship fueled rumors and speculation. Some suggested it might have been a powerful figure in Hollywood, while others believed it could have been someone entirely outside the industry. The mystery only deepened with Keaton's cryptic comments in subsequent interviews. In a 2001 chat with Oprah Winfrey, she said, "Not everything needs to be shared with the world. Some things are too precious, too personal." Friends and colleagues who were aware of the relationship respected Keaton's desire for privacy. Actor and close friend Jack Nicholson once remarked, "Diane has always been very private about certain aspects of her life. She has her reasons, and those of us who know her respect that." This tight circle of trust ensured that few details about the mystery man ever leaked to the public. Her reluctance to divulge information about this significant other has been linked to her broader views on privacy and fame. In her memoir, Then Again, she wrote, "Fame is a double-edged sword. It gives you opportunities, but it also takes away your anonymity. There are parts of my life that I want to keep for myself, and I think that's important." This philosophy explains her guarded approach to discussing this relationship. Despite the lack of concrete details, Keaton's reflections on this mystery man reveal the depth of their connection. She often described him as a stabilizing force in her life, someone who provided emotional support and understanding. In a 2012 interview with The Guardian, she stated, "He was a rock for me during some of the most challenging times in my life. His presence was a constant source of comfort." In a 2018 interview with the New York Times, Keaton offered a rare glimpse into why she chose to keep this relationship private. "Some things are just too sacred to be put on display. I've shared a lot with the world, but there are some things that are mine alone. That relationship is one of them," she said.